when I went on we are recording because fuck it, we're getting good shit right now, and we're joined by Bret Short, a good friend of ours. Bret, welcome.
Oh, it's so great to be here. I miss this place so much.
So one of the post, let me just continue. One of the weirder post movie, because I didn't want to catch that first one, but the second one that I do want to catch is with an ex-girlfriend on our first date, I went and saw Shutter Island, and I started thinking about all this veteran shit, and I come out of the movie and I'm like fucking straight up geeked up and like ready to cry, and she's just like, what is going on? And I'm just like, the fucking war is fucked up. I'm like, all these people are dead. Like, she was, dude, this is the first day we ever went on.
Oh, okay. I almost forgot. It's Shutter Island, like with the
DiCaprio.
Leo,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Scorsese's movie.
I'm like, what are you talking about? War? Right. No, right. The scene with the frozen bodies and stuff. Yeah.
And it's because you don't know what the fuck is going on, right, where and who and what and why. And it's good. It's really good.
I didn't care for the movie that much, but that scene is fucking intense. I'll give you that.
Because of Leo or what?
No. I'm fine with Leo.
Better not.
What's your favorite Leo movie?
Man, I mean, I think his best performance is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, man. Like, he fucking knocked it out of the park. Like, I even saw Leo haters like, okay, Leo's fucking good in that movie.
I like Brad Pitt in that movie.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah,
that to me is like the performance.
Holla ladies, like the both of them together.
I like him when I like him when he's in his trailer with the dog.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
That whole scene is best.
Well, yeah. Brad Pitt has like the best non-talking scenes in that movie. Yeah. Like, you could just feel his character, just like how he just throughout the day, especially like what you're saying with the dog.
Well, he's that working class guy, who's lives by himself, got a big dog. He walks, he drives, everything.
Which is funny because he's one of the best looking people ever. So it'd be hard for him to be poor. But yeah, sure, he's the working class hero.
Are you trying to say that there's no good-looking poor people? Is that what you were saying?
I think so. If I'm an example, we're not doing well.
Oh shit! No, be kinder on yourself.
We're about
nice. No. I'm not saying. No. There's a difference between good-looking and being one of the best-looking people of all time. That's my point.
We're made to be best-looking people of all times as well.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
No, I'm ripping off a joke from. That's the same premise as what's his face. From Chesterton, the Jim Gaffigan, right? Yeah. The pale guy. He talked about like he didn't get Monsters Ball at all because he's like it's about Halle Berry being so poor and everything like that. And the whole time he's like, why is she so poor? Why didn't she just go model somewhere?
She is gorgeous,
right?
And I would definitely blow Brad Pitt, but the DiCaprio, I would I could go with
underachiever.
I can go with. I could
go.
Sergio's
with, like, oh, I'm getting that shit all tore up. Anyway, sorry.
No, I can go with Once Upon a Time, but I really, really, really like him in the Departed.
Oh, Leo, right,
yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah. He's got to see. I was still thinking Brad Pitt.
No.
Because we all always thinking Brad Pitt. No, exactly.
No, Brad Pitt Killing Him Softly is my favorite Brad Pitt movie. By far.
I need to watch that movie again.
By fucking far.
I didn't like that movie the first time I watched it.
That surprises
me. Burn
the
tape.
That surprises the shit out of me.
A lot of it was a lot of the decision filming, but like I think I'll get it better now. Like it's obviously as it's gone on, it's really hit close to home, especially because I didn't realize how. It obviously helps the more evil you think Obama is in that movie. And I wasn't full on like he's a supervillain yet, but now I am. So I'll probably like that movie better.
Shit.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's more like that. I mean, dude, I love that. I will talk up that movie till the day I die. I love that fucking
Burn
movie.
After Reading, right? Is that the right?
That's right. Oh yeah, he's like the complete opposite.
Completely out of his role.
Right. Yeah, he did great. He did a great job.
When is he the general too? He's great when he plays the Afghanistan general.
Yep.
Oh shit! When was that in?
It's very good.
War,
man.
The Good War, or something.
It's like a movie about the thing that came out about Obama and the generals in Afghanistan. He plays a good role.
I haven't seen that. That sounds good. Here's a good old callback. How about Brad and Legends of the Fall?
Oh yeah.
One of my favorite movies.
That movie's badass.
That's an epic fucking movie right there.
Good fucking movie there.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
That'll make you cry.
But no, yeah, Leo. The more I think, okay, yeah, I mean, Departed.
Fight Club, as much as people talk shit about Fight Club, like it's cool to talk shit about Fight Club now. Well, here, I could say, I want to say fuck you to two groups of people.
Sure.
One group is the super fans of Fight Club.
Sure.
And the other group are the people who just say fuck Fight Club. Yeah.
Right.
Like, because it's a good movie.
Sure.
Like, I like that movie.
Rule number 1, don't say fuck the Fight Club.
Well, we're not supposed to talk about it, right?
You agree? You agree with that, though?
Oh, yeah. No, I think it's definitely one of David Fincher's best. Like, I think it's way better than Seven, for example. I think a lot of people hate that. But, like, I mean, you can't... For that movie, especially how big it was culturally, it has some of the best anti-capitalist sentiment out there. Especially for just like, I should say bluntly, like not, obviously it's not a great sweeping perspective on anti-capitalism, but I mean, just that line of when they're talking about going into space and it's like, you know, under capitalism or whatever, it's going to be Planet Starbucks. It's going to be Microsoft Galaxy. It's going to be, you know, and it's such a forlorn statement. It just goes to show you, like, I think it really encapsulates just the evils of capitalism.
And being bipolar. Like it creates this dual sense of you. Like there's one who has to do this thing,
that's
and
way
then
more
the
than
other
bipolar.
one that wants to completely. Well, split personality.
I was sorry to bring up the armchair psychiatry
how it
here.
Psychologically fucks you up, you know.
And I think it's technically now, what is it? Personality dissociative disorder or something now. Like,
I got you.
So, but no, either way.
Euphemism. Okay.
I mean, everything. I mean, it goes after fucking yuppie culture. It goes after materialism. It goes after like the whole. Everybody was going to psychologists in the 90s. You have like the explosion of pharmaceuticals in the 90s. It goes after all that shit.
Kia, thank God.
Yeah, man. All that crap. Okay, so we could jump back to movies, and I'm sure we will. But one of the main things we're going to talk about today is why it's okay for working class people to cheer on the death of Donald Trump. That is why we are here today.
I had 3 steps to get to that moment.
Oh, really?
But you threw me off.
You came in here with a plan, huh?
Yeah. Well, first off, I wanted to congratulate you on. I mean, this guy right here, he gets Noam Chomsky, then Oliver Stone, and now you get the frontman for Hydrolazer, dude. You just keep topping yourself.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah! Yeah, we'll talk about that too.
Yeah, and also, and I'm glad to be here to help. To reconcile with Bence's last performance, because I got to give you shit about that on air if you don't mind.
Yeah. I was bummed out. It
was so sad.
Really? And he was like, dude, Serge, he was like, you sounded pretty bummed out, man. I was like, damn it.
Right. No, I mean, but compared to Vince, you were just a firecracker.
I'm sorry. we got into DSA. And
I mean, especially just a passionate Italian like Vince. It was just so sad to see. Like, I swear, I think you smoked the Italian right out of you, Vince.
I did. I put myself into a coma that night, basically.
Right. I imagine Vince went to bed that night with like a camouflage pacifier. Still trying to keep it a little tough.
I went to bed with like a lit cigarette in my mouth. Just so that way, anytime I could breathe while I was sleeping, I just got a hit of nicotine. Yeah, fucking A. No,
yeah. But then just so you know, people, he's a lot better now. He got to interview one of his like favorite people ever. So I just want to say congrats again to you, man. That's fucking awesome. Super.
Thank you.
And it sounds like he broke the rule of don't meet your heroes, right? Because that sounds like a badass comment. And I can't wait to hear it. Yeah.
Knock on wood. I would say that's been the case more often than not for me. So that's been really neat. I mean, a lot of these people that I have been able to meet, the people that I've looked up to, have been really fucking cool. And that's really nice because, a lot of times they get the opposite, and that's terrible. So, all right.
So follow me here.
Bad.
No, it's fine. So follow me here because I was just going to say next time you talk to Oliver Stone, if you can bring up the Dr. Lewis West guy. Remember me telling you about him?
Yes.
Because I think that opens up the case a lot more. And it's funny when I brought that up to you, not to bring up old squabbles. You were like, well, yeah. They have plenty of psychiatrists in the military, right? The difference is, and then the point I overlooked was that this is all happening in Dallas, right? Jack Ruby. They flew that motherfucker out from UCLA. Like you're
I know that you're with Oliver on this, and so you'll
not
be
quite. I'm just saying
you'll be
it's
happy
wide
to
open.
know. No. You'll be happy to know that he is coming out with a 4-part definitive documentary about this.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier,
and it could very well,
Not to get too into it. I just think like I don't think I have any concrete theory of what happened. I mean, honestly, that doesn't even necessarily mean they like set up anything. They were just kind of. I think there's plenty of evidence to show the government was trying to cover their tracks though and cut all ties to Oswald and the people that he was hanging around with, which I appreciate Oliver Stone for his movie on that, because I didn't know what a crazy fucking bunch of bonkers gay underground New Orleans scene was going on that Oswald was a part of. That shit's nuts, regardless of what you think happened.
Hell yeah. But one of my favorite scenes in that movie is Keith Sutherland's. I'm sorry, Donald Sutherland's
right.
character.
Well, that's when the movie goes full tilt.
Fuck, man. I haven't seen it in a while, but I definitely want to rewatch it.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
What else were you going to segue into the...
Well, I was going to say, speaking of conspiracy theories, we now have, God knows what's going to happen now. This Trump might get the conspiracy theory to outshine Kennedy if he dies from this fucking COVID thing.
Oh, that's right.
But boom, see, have faith.
And you know what that reminds me? It reminds me of a movie, Death of Stalin.
No, yes.
Have you seen it?
Yo, God, yes, I watched that beautiful movie.
Exactly, dude. It's so funny. It's literally like watching that film.
Oh yeah. Oh no, especially if you, dude. Sir, I was telling Vince, by all means, people check out this dude Miles Taylor. He did a conservative podcast recently that like my conservative friend sent me, and it really opens your eyes. Like he gives you the day to day of what it was like being in the Trump White House and everything like that. And it's just like Death of Stalin almost, where they're just like, it's just, because like he opens up with, how could you stay in that administration? Why'd you stay so long? He's just like, well, if somebody loves his country, how do you leave? Because he's just constantly, damage reduction, right? Like, it's fucking terrifying, man.
It is terrifying.
Right.
I mean, the whole thing's terrifying.
Because, I've been pretty like, I don't give a shit about Joe Biden, but like, yeah, after listening to that podcast, I'm like, fuck, man, we need to get Trump out of there because God knows what can happen with that crazy coup,
No, I can't really imagine. I mean, honestly, I've been telling people, like, what gets across to people more than any kind of sophisticated political analysis is just to say to people, like, do you really want to hear this fucking guy's voice for another 4 years?
That's exactly, no, if I was running against him, I'd be like, help me get Trump off TV. That's exactly what my campaign.
Like, you want to hear this for 4 more fucking years?
Well, that's especially pretty good at that. He's like, just shut up, man. Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, especially that debate, which I have to say, since I picked on you, I got to pick on Sergio for being too soft on Biden. I think he was. That's how much
this is like an in-depth analysis of our.
So I was. You guys are.
Those are supposed to be like relax. Those are supposed to be like relaxing, like weekly programs of us just shooting the shit.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean. I
don't expect anyone to come in and give us that kind of an analysis.
I guess I'm moving to the center now. I'm moving to the center more, bro.
Sergio's getting paid by the DNC.
Right. Fucking shill.
Hey, man. Yeah, hey, whatever.
All of a sudden, our Patreons got fucking.
I shouldn't say soft on Biden in general, just soft on his debate performance. And I really think anyone in that Democratic primary could have done a better job.
Oh, for sure. Okay. The dude's barely alive.
Okay, right.
I mean,
he looked like a goddamn ghoul,
A fucking strong wind could paralyze him.
But we're talking about 2 cats, it was just 2 of them there, not 8. Okay, so that's why let's not go there.
No, it's just from the sentiment. It's just from the sentiment that Biden was the safest candidate. We had to hear that for a year and a half, whatever, right?
No,
it's
terrible.
But and I did want to say then, but on the other hand, I will give him. I thought he had the really good line. His only good line of the whole debate was Trump. You wouldn't know a suburb if you took a wrong turn.
That was a good one.
That was the one that I was like his one moment that worked. Otherwise, it was just like.
Oh yeah,
Joey Bides. It's like,
but it's okay. It's okay for us to cheer Trump dying.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
And as I said to you, like, well, fuck does Trump like most of Congress?
Yeah.
Like, all those motherfuckers need to die.
Happiest thing in 4 years that happened. Dude.
Exactly. It's like finally
5 years.
Finally.
People are finally cheering. Like people.
It's like on the left. It's like on the left seeing a fumble like 16 times. They're like, hey, we finally got a fumble.
Hell yeah.
Fucking A. And all this
Just watch
sanctimonious bullshit about like high morals and ethics and like,
he's a human being.
Like he's a human being. Like,
First off, no, he's not. Second,
so sweet. He's such a sweet guy.
Yeah, first off, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that he's a human being.
I met him in 1979. He was such a nice guy. He was building this hotel in New York.
And the same people who have tried to make him out to be a fucking devil for 4 years. So like Rachel Maddow was on TV the other day. We if we could say a prayer, this is a tough time.
No, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, man. Yes.
Prayer, really?
Dude, all these cats.
God.
It's just so fake.
Because especially
like nobody buys
thing,
this shit.
Yeah, that's exactly like it'd be one thing to be fake, but to just be completely uselessly fake.
Yeah.
Like what fucking Republican Trumpers like, oh, thank you, Maddow, thank you for reaching across the aisle, like they could give two fucks.
Oh yeah, while these cats on the Trump fucking patrol or a caravan knocking people out in the fucking gas stations, you know, like, oh, he's just a nice guy. He sends a good message to everyone. Come on, He's trying to bring us all together.
Yeah, and just like and just you know, and to reach across the aisle. I hope when they start fucking eventually droming goddamn U.S. citizens during Civil War, I hope Obama they accidentally hit for the first time. like I want him to fuck these people, man. They're fucking all war criminals. All go to hell. Couldn't give two fucks.
Yeah. Hey. End of podcast. Have a good. All right, have a good one. All right, everybody.
That's why I wasn't thinking it was going to be your strongest talking point, because I'm like, well, I can blow this right open. I agree.
Fuck 'em.
I agree too much.
No, absolutely, man. I mean, I don't think it's probably not. Let me say this: it's probably not the healthiest constant state of mind to be in, to be hoping for death. But so I'm just going to say that. But I mean, outside of that though, it's like, man, it's just amazing to me. I've long said that like the people in power would be shocked if somebody blew up, and I'm not advocating this. So for the NSA, FBI, whoever else is listening to this,
I got friends.
If someone were to do this, and it wouldn't be helpful, but I'm just saying, if someone were to do this, if someone did in fact blow up the Capitol building or Wall Street, I've said for years that the professional class would be shocked at how many people would cheer. They would, if they looked,
Wall Street.
if they looked at Twitter, if they looked at the Twitter social media like trend, what would be trending at that time if somebody blew up Wall Street? I think everybody would be shocked in the establishment. They'd be like, "Holy fuck!" Like they're like a good portion of this country actually wants us to die. Not like, oh, they want like more regulations or they want like better people in power. It's like, no, these people want us dead. It's just that America. It's like
DEAD.
I want his family dead. I want his kids dead. It's like, oh man, that is like, I think that would blow their minds. And the only reason they're not is because Americans aren't organized. Like nobody's organized enough. But like the anger's there. I mean, fuck, man. People, you see it with Trump. People have already been shocked. Like there's people on news and they're just like, I was watching cable news earlier and they were like, we're really concerned about the type of traffic we've seen on social media. There's people cheering for this, the death of the president. It's like, yeah, tens of millions of people.
See it before with the Tea Party and Obama anyway. Like,
and I'm surprised they didn't start cracking down on it too.
They tried,
Facebook.
and I think,
did they?
Yeah. They were trying to take down posts and stuff like that wished it, and then something happened, and I don't know.
Good.
I just saw it. Yeah.
Good, because they're always trying to shut us up.
So the title
We
of this,
appreciate it. Give us more.
It'll be interesting because we'll title this podcast "It's Okay to Wish." It's okay to cheer on the death of President Trump. Something like that. We'll see. Like what
you already got your quote. I want him dead.
I want him
Happy death.
That's all you need.
I want him
That's dead. Quotes.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
You gotta dwindle it down.
Oh,
I want him dead.
And now it's like all kinds of people, right? It's like all kinds of people in the cabinet and shit, and Republican, all kinds of other
who got it?
Yes.
No, like everybody's got COVID now, right?
Yeah.
Kellyanne Conway's got it.
Well, you hear, thank goodness you guys started later because the Bears game got moved up because the Patriots were canceled because Cam Newton got COVID.
Oh, shit. Oh,
Yeah.
I had no idea. I would never expect football to be canceled. God damn it.
Well, dude, I mean, we were just listening. Sergio was listening earlier to that Dr. Osterholm's weekly podcast.
Oh, yeah. I need to keep up on that.
He's just like, yeah, we're in maybe the third or fourth inning, I guess. He's like, pretty much this is going to be going on for 2 to 4 years, and people are just
winter's going to be bad.
Yeah, he just like
the same. I mean, he's been pretty consistent on that.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
I mean, as the information changes, he changes, obviously, that's what's supposed to happen. But basically, he's been saying, yeah, things are going to keep getting worse, and you know, and he gave guidance to people like, hey, no, go see your folks, go see your relatives, but make it smart, like make sure everybody understands it, make sure this. But now doesn't mean that people are going to do it nonetheless.
Sure. I actually just showed my friends his appearance on Joe Rogan back in fucking January, and it's scary how accurate he was then. So he's the guy to follow for sure. So I need to keep up on his weekly podcast.
And I know everybody's been getting sick of it, dude. I mean, we talked about it no, we didn't talk about it during the program, but we just rapped about it just upstairs. We were bullshitting, and it's like, yeah, man. Like, I mean, when Sergio went to go see his parents, like I took a day and went to the tattoo shop. I went to my friend's house and hung out in his basement for like the first time indoors with people like not socially distanced. I was as strict as you could be for like 5 months, and then I just kind of broke for like a weekend.
Of course.
Excuse me. And then now,
trust me, it was hard not to hug these beautiful men in here. I wanted to rush you.
I know. No, I know, man. And now even with Trump, I think to myself, Jesus, man, like this mainly is due to a fucking outdoor gathering. Like, yeah, they were close to each other, but still it was like these fucking people were outdoors, and I don't know, man. I'm really worried about the winter because at least in the summertime we could see people, and you know.
Well, that was his point. He basically people go from impatient, and he's like, we're entering a stage of anger.
Right.
And then that's the scariest thing is that people now becoming, and especially the winter's going to get people really fucking angry.
Well, especially because
well, especially what if we don't know who the fuck the president is till after Christmas? Hey, man. Imagine a scenario like this. This is my 2020 scenario. It's contested election, courts, past Thanksgiving. Okay, so everybody goes into Thanksgiving. There's tons of domestic murder. After Thanksgiving, everybody's like, okay, maybe this will get worked out before Christmas. Nope. Nobody knows who the president is until after the new year. And dude, I think if something like that happens, by the time the weather breaks, it'll take one thing, and it'll make the last uprisings look like bullshit.
Right. I mean,
it's gonna take one fucking thing.
I don't mean to mean, but just how small scale the George Floyd incident was, and
absolutely,
and relevance to everything going on, and how little that affects people directly, and that was enough to just send the whole world on fire.
Well, in January too, that's when the evictions kick in as well. People who qualify to stay in. I mean, and people are still getting their electricity and their utilities canceled. So the winter's coming. I mean, people,
If we could just hold off, if everybody could just hold off on the protest till it at least gets warm out, I'd appreciate that.
Well, and
because I don't like the cold weather.
That's the Eastern European thing.
I'm just joking. Yeah, I don't want fucking Stalingrad, dude. Like fucking Stalingrad out here in the fucking cold. I'll be like eating Dr. Leary's leg.
Hold on, let me suck some snow off my boots.
Yeah. Hey, water.
Right. But no, even taking the human element out of it, just, people are saying like, oh, the summer's going to kill. It's going to die down in the summer. And it kept going during the summer. So you imagine even without human interaction like that, or human, saltiness, like that, it's gonna get really bad in fall, winter,
and everyone's comfortable, and this is what's making people comfortable too. I mean, there's like a world in front of my window, and I see it every day, and people are real comfortable, and there've
been people in that bar for 6 months.
Dude,
If you look at a Friday or Saturday night, Brett, it looks just like when you remember it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's totally wild.
Screams outside.
People hugging each other, like 10, 12 people, arms around each other around the pool table. I'm just like, this is fucking nuts, dude.
Well, I have been seeing a lot more masks. It seems like everywhere I go.
That's true.
Because I deliver and everybody has a mask.
Yeah.
Like, they're pretty.
Yep.
They're pretty.
That's good.
People have been pretty good about that so far. But yeah, who knows? Like, I mean, if we get out of this without any sort of like major massacre or major like death toll and stuff like that, like nihilists have got to like back off, or like misanthropes have to like back off of like humans doing better. Like, if we can get out of this fucking mess, like humans, maybe humans can start getting their shit together.
The death toll is already.
Oh yeah,
That's I mean, comparing to everyone else, it's pretty.
Oh yeah. No, I'm saying. But
no,
like,
he means like some kind of like violent explosion. Yeah. Like, will people in this country lose their shit, or will everybody kind of be like, at some point, be
world,
like, okay, let's wait a minute.
We got to get through this. Are we going to handle it like? I'm trying to think what was the bad disaster. I was going to say the opposite, because it was amazing actually, like how the Japanese handled Fukushima. Like, if you ever see pictures of it, they're just like, this huge fucking nuclear meltdown, and everybody's just in single file. Everybody's being nice. Everybody's like,
highly disciplined, obedient culture. Though. The cultural,
I'm well aware, Sergio.
The cultural significance there.
I'm well aware. I'm just saying, if we could, that's like the end of the spectrum. Hopefully, we can lean more towards more that, as opposed to like the Philippines or something like that, where the Congress and shit like that would just fucking flat out just start going into fist fights and stuff like that. Or I'm thinking of like Singapore, I think.
Ukraine. I mean, I told I told Serge that part of the rebellion against the masks, looked at in hindsight, it kind of bodes well. There's so many contradictions in this country.
USA.
Well, but the thing is like it bodes well for any kind of resistance to like some kind of authoritarian government here. Like,
sure.
Like, you're going to have people in this country are just going to be like, nope, not doing it. Now, that doesn't work well when it's a public health crisis.
Sure.
But if indeed the government were like trying to really do some draconian shit, you'd have a lot of, the majority of the country would just be like, yeah, go fuck yourself. Like, I'm going to go to the gas station and get some Philly blunts, and like, you can go fuck yourself.
And it arises from the Second Amendment thing. I think the Second Amendment, the whole push and move for the Second Amendment kind of spills over into it. Like, don't take my fucking, don't
from
take
my cold
guns,
dead
don't
hands.
Don't take my death away from me.
There's a reason why there's a reason why it's the
that stick.
Well, it's the reason why it was almost like right from the beginning. There's a reason why it's the Second Amendment, not the 7th, 8th, or 9th Amendment, right? Like, they're like, get to the fucking guns. Like, we got to get that shit protected.
Too far. We still try to deal with the first.
Which right back to America's wonderful knack for cognitive dissonance when, but for some reason, police brutality, just like, nah, man, that's fucking fine. Like the actual use of abusive authority, and they're like, nah, blue lives matter. We got blue line flags. It's fine.
That's where like the ideology is just all over the place, because now you've got cops who are going after people for not wearing masks, and these people are freaking out.
Right. Our two major figures, our two major figures for like our political philosophy in this country that's why you got fucking Ayn Rand and goddamn Jesus Christ, like complete polar opposites, and those are the two like inspirational figures that are probably mentioned the most in our politics.
Yeah, I don't know. People drop a lot of founding fathers, but I definitely hear you.
Oh yeah, well sure, but and
then how people interpret Jesus' teachings, of course, are quite different than how he actually lived.
Oh sure, but I'm just saying, don't take away our Christian principles. This country was founded on Christianity, and then you got the. And then dude, no, look at Ayn Rand. Like her books and everything in her movies sell way more than any founding father bullshit. Yeah. Like I think Library of Congress, Fountainhead is #1 book.
But a lot of people actually like her writing, whereas I've never read her stuff, and I've heard it's actually decent writing.
No, it's not.
It's not. People, I'm telling you, like some people like her shit.
And they need to read more books.
No, I mean people. No. I don't mean stupid people. I mean I'm talking even directors and people we would enjoy that like really enjoy.
Well, I mean, what
stories.
directors like James Woods or?
No. No, I'm serious. There's a lot.
I'm
of people
trying to think what I mean.
Here,
I've never read it, so I can't say.
I've even read her philosophy,
and I know what she's all about. So I mean, of course, I'm just not interested.
Well, like her let's just say her writing style is a bit lacking. But like for example, like her main characters are all just like perfect, awesome human beings to represent her philosophy, you know, and then you know, and everybody else is just a big dummy around him, and he's got to save everybody with his awesome capitalism, and that's basically
like but you're also talking about a person who ran away from communism.
The worst of
communism.
Absolutely.
Like she was a white, you know, I mean, she was on the side of the monarchy. And so, yeah, man, I mean, that's basically drove her to, you know, and
sure.
I mean, and in the way, obviously, there are reasons for it, but nonetheless, I mean, you know,
but oddly enough, she still picked up the atheism from the Russian communism, and I don't give her that prop. She fucking hated Reagan, which is interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. I mean, you have those tendencies, those libertarian tendencies that fall in line somewhat with those anarcho tendencies.
Sweet libertarian tendencies.
No, I mean, just people just generally being skeptical of any kind of like centralized authority, which isn't necessarily a bad thing if you can add some kind of nuance to it.
But they can never figure out that. But they can never figure out that corporations can get plenty of central authority as well.
Yeah. Well, some of them. I mean, even some of the more principled ones would understand that about corporations, but they feel that there can't be any kind of a centralized sort of mechanism.
Sure.
And that's crazy in just a really complex world.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like in 1840, I get when when a lot of this kind of all these ideologies came about, a lot of it makes sense in the time frame it came out.
Well, I mean, just imagine trying to run a fucking military without any central planning. Like that'd be a fucking nightmare.
That's a lot of. That's actually what that Christian Parenti book about Hamilton is. I mean, that was like Hamilton's first experience was like during the Revolutionary War, it just being a disaster.
Oh yeah,
and then him understanding like why, you know, there was no centralized planning. Just like militias and in military units, just you know, hawking their gear and trying to trade and ransacking different people's houses.
Well, buddy, you need to watch this movie by Mel Gibson called The Patriot, and they'll show you how it got done.
It's my favorite movie, man.
Your favorite movie? What the fuck?
Just kidding. Not my favorite movie.
You like that though, Patriot?
No,
I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I mean, the movie's hilarious, dude.
Well, yeah, the movie. I mean, just the way. I mean, there's. The way it's shot, the way it's structured, I mean, I think it's definitely something to see, and the storyline as well. I mean, they don't leave, you know, they include race in it.
Do? Okay.
Oh yeah, it has a big element in it.
Okay,
I haven't seen it since it came out.
Right.
I mean, obviously it comes down to the people who are in charge, obviously landowners, which is, and you know they're sort of, but majority though, like the people who are in charge are the landowners, and the majority of people who are fighting are all poor or like regular folk that's just moved there.
But I brought it up because good old Melly Gibbs, he would have countered it like that movie thinks it shows like, oh, the militias were better because they could do guerrilla warfare and they weren't like, you know, lined up, which is just like, okay, dude. Like, I mean, the British beat us in every battle.
Well, because they were trying to fight them this is the whole thing about the film is that you can't fight a trained army like with the same tactics.
No, you got to Viet Cong.
When did it come out?
2000.
Because I was going to say, if it came out during the war in Iraq, it's like it also has
No. It was like 98 to 99. You're right. It was
early.
Yeah, it was before 9/11. But no, that fucking movie. But no, that movie's worth watching just for the reason why I think
2000.
Okay, yeah. The reason why I think I was right, at least it was before 9/11. But the reason why I think I just remember there's a really hilarious part at the end where the guy, you know, Mel Gibson fights the actual, he fights the evil British general guy, and he literally impales him with an American flag.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Freedom ring, baby.
Hey, you got a problem? With these collars, boy?
Hey man, I have a lot more sympathy for the people who fought in that after reading that book by Parenti, and I mean Parenti's no hack. I mean he's a he's a left-wing guy. He's just going back and looking at the history, and it's just brutal, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, every minute, like, people are dying at 33. Like, if you made it to 35 years old, it was like, oh.
And I saw some crazy when
Congratulations.
I saw some crazy statistic that like 90% of children were born out of wedlock during revolutionary times.
I believe that.
Yeah. But I was gonna say I was thinking the Patriot, but oh, it's so funny. Fucking Mel Gibson. But,
yeah, Gibson is one of those characters that's like, you would like to think that if he got himself under some kind of like control, that he might be able to do some, because he's got this wild mind. I've heard him talk about films before where he just, not quite like Scorsese because the personality is so different, but like he just starts rattling them off where he's just like this one in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s and foreign films. And he's really, I mean, he's into film.
And you can see it in his films. You can see it. I mean, I can't.
What else did he do? He did The Patriot.
I was going to say, I still want to watch. I've never seen
Braveheart, of course.
Apocalyptico or whatever.
See, that's another one I saw when it came out.
Good.
Yeah, I watched because I heard it's like really brutal, like very brutal, gory battle and stuff like that.
Man, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he at the end especially, man, he obviously
I'm going to use the restroom.
He wasn't able to unwind the whole thing that I mean, I was really interested, actually. One of my minors was in indigenous studies of South and Central and North America. Well, North America and South America. But,
so he did a pretty good job with that, right? Like it was a treat?
Not even with that, how he ended. And like this, there's a lot of romanticization of indigenous cultures. I think a lot of people don't understand that Cortez, the only reason he conquered Mexico, what is now Mexico, is because of the coalition that he had with other indigenous tribes.
Oh yeah.
And so at the end, it doesn't really say much, but they see the ships. But I'm not gonna say anything. Anyways, yeah, if you haven't seen it, you gotta watch it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's really good, man. Once again, I think it is similar to Patriot because he hits on extremely important topics within that some people don't want to talk about.
Sure.
Whether it's environmental degradation, whether it's, killing people, because there's this whole like, the native cultures were very peaceful and like we should, some of course, just like, but nonetheless, yeah, he points those things out. It's really good. It's really good, man.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think anybody's ever accused Gibson of backing down or sugarcoating anything besides calling that cop sugar tits. But but yeah, he does. But he definitely doesn't sugarcoat anything. The only time he ever put sugar on anything. Sorry, cheap shot, Mel.
That's
but
great.
Please don't kill me.
Have
you seen this weird fucking beaver movie? That shit's a trip, man. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Directed by Miss Nell. What's her name? The Contact. Oh gosh, I can't believe I almost said just Janet. She's in. She's a young prostitute and Taxi Driver, like that woman.
Oh,
right?
Foster.
Yeah, Jodie Foster. Directed by Jodie Foster, and it's about Mel Gibson, kind of like getting overwhelmed by grief or whatever, and he. I'm not kidding. You might remember it, but he starts coping by using a talking beaver puppet.
No.
Yes.
I don't remember it.
No,
I'll show you a trailer. It's like, whoa. I think it made like $5,000. Like 5,000 people saw the movie or something like that. Because it's just called, I think it's called Beaver. And it's just about, you see Mel Gibson, the action star, alpha male dude, just like, he's got like a weird Australian. Oh yeah. And he uses this weird Australian lower accent to talk with the puppet.
He is Australian, isn't he?
He sure is. Yeah. That's where all the Road Warrior movies were shot.
The Battle of Gallipoli. That was like a big thing that people showed me. They were like, yeah, if you want to understand some of the bullshit, that whole battle is used there to like justify war in the way that like D-Day is here. It's like, oh, Gallipoli, that's where our boys fought, you know.
Mad Max.
Sure. Yeah, that's what I was saying. All the Mad Max movies. That's why they're all shot in Australia.
That was his break, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. That's where he got discovered for
First
sure.
one, yep. Mad Max.
I still need to see the first one. I think I've seen it, but it's been a long time because it's not. It's like it's a bridge movie to the Apocalypse Road Warrior stuff.
It's great.
Yeah,
I like it. I
Oh,
like
yeah,
the first one.
Yeah, I need to. Yeah, he's been a great gift to film. It's just sad, you know. He kind of lost it.
Yeah, I could see why a lot of people would lose it in that space. The more I read that Oliver Stone book, the more I was like, oh yeah, this place just. I mean, you kind of knew that it eats people up, and, you know, chews them up and spits them out. But it's like, my God. And then you have these people who are very young going there, making all kinds of money, all kinds of pressures, vultures everywhere, leeches trying to get stuff from you, capitalize off you, use you.
In a row, I want to read Oliver Stone's movie, and then read his book, and then I need to read his. And then I want to read. That's really, you son of a bitch. I almost said Chuck Palahniuk, and it's quite the opposite. Charles Bukowski's book about being, because they made that movie with Matt Dillon, based on his book, and he's just like, every stereotype is true and just so much worse. Yeah. So I think if I read those two books in a row, that will take out any inkling I would ever want to try to go to Hollywood, or at least, you know, try and pursue any kind of career in Hollywood.
No,
stay the fuck away.
I mean, and plus, like Stone and some of these guys at this point are like, it's almost like the music thing. It's like at one point, we were talking about the guy at the last podcast, but there's the sociologist by the name of Eric Kleinenberg. And if you want to read an awesome book about why the music industry went the way it did, check out this book, Fighting for Air.
Okay.
And he just talks about like, look, like, yeah, in the 80s and 90s, you had channels where actual human beings manned the station and did programs, and people could go in and like give people demo tapes and have them play it on the radio. And it's just like, once all the Telecommunications Act under Clinton, all the deregulation under Reagan, like by the time it gets to the 2000s, it's just like that story of like, oh, this band from rural fucking Washington State made it to the whatever, you know, and now they sold 3 million. First of all, nobody buys fucking records anymore.
Sure.
So it's
actually,
like,
that's not true. Vinyl is higher selling than CD right now. Sorry.
No, but I'm saying like,
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
I know
like,
what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I mean, thank God that's awesome. But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I know.
people like.
And not just the 90s, I mean the 80s with MTV actually just really that was the real first big hegemony of music.
See, I kind of liked it. I'm like, it's weird because I know now that anybody can put out stuff, and I like that aspect too. But I like that there's people that like you could collectively relate to. Like, you know what I mean? To be like, oh, that's the band. Like, you're listening to that. Like, you could talk to people these days and be like, what are you listening to? And they're like, I don't listen to one thing you listen to. It's like,
I've never heard of any of these things.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's like, but that happened. You know what I mean? That's which
I love, though, because I try and keep as much up with music as possible. And then I love finding people like, holy shit, they mentioned 5 bands I've never even heard of. I love that. But I can understand how it could be overwhelming and frustrating, of course, too. Just like you need once again, they caught me recording here right after I watched football. Like, it's nice to have like an NFL that everybody knows the teams, because, you know, there's football everywhere. Right. But it's nice to have like this is the cream of the crop, and here's where you can all get them, you know.
And it's cool if you communicate with people and you're around people, but if you're not, right, it allows you to kind of get stuck in the little circle of music that you're exposed to. And if the same people, like different people come out with different things in the same genre, it kind of keeps you. Same thing with information too, I feel like.
Of course.
You know, it just kind of, but if you're communicating with people and people sharing those things, then that's awesome, because you can break out of your little shell.
Of course.
Well, that's what record stores were originally for.
Yeah, that's what's really sad is record stores.
Like, you go there and you hang out for 2 or 3 hours and talk to people.
Listening to Henry Rollins talk about Spencer. He was the guy who ran their local like record store, and how like huge that was as part of his life, and it was so sad to hear him talk about like it slowly going away.
Yeah, I think we talked about this before, but not on air, and that is, you know, the band Morphine from Boston.
Oh, here we go. Nope.
Yeah, no, they're pretty good, man. They're good.
Awesome,
I wouldn't even know
amazing.
how to describe them. The guy plays with a 1-string bass. I mean, it's like
Amazing.
it's
this
really
sounds
cool.
awesome.
It's cool shit.
They're just called Morphine?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's cool shit. I will send you a couple of stuff when we get done. I'll send it to you. But you know, there was an interview with him. He died young, and there was an interview with the guy that had the lead singer and who's also the bass player, and he was saying that in Boston in the 90s that there were like hundreds of venues and that there were thousands of local bands. He's like, you don't understand. He's like, there were like thousands of local bands. Like, I mean, look at Chicago. I mean, Chicago's the 3rd largest city in the country. Right. It's supposed to be like a music mecca in the country.
Sure.
I mean, dude, I know I had a lot of friends in Chicago. Like, there's some shit going on.
Sure. Not like,
But there ain't that much shit going on. I mean, it's like you go into these places and it's like, oh, like, okay, you know, or the same shit, or then, you know, they don't have as many cover bands as like the suburbs. It's like as soon as you get to the suburbs, it's like cover band city, man.
Oh yeah, especially in Hobart, baby.
But even
Shit, like Maryville, dude. Every restaurant on Route 30 on any Friday or Saturday night, it's just like,
Well, fuck restaurants. Dude. I was gonna say Hobart has that theater where they fucking headline Korn and Deftones, and they just have Metallica cover bands.
oh, I was like, not the real ones. No. Oh. I was like, fuck, I'll go to fucking the Hobart Art Theater to go see fucking Korn right now.
Dude, I saw a Rob Zombie cover band there. I saw because I had to take John, good old Johnny Metcalf, because he's such a Korn guy. We're like, dude, we have to see what a Korn cover band sounds like. It was hilarious.
Especially Zombie, dude. I love to see
That one, although that one was really bad. Like oh no, I had a better time watching Rob Johnson do zombie karaoke. Like that was way better.
Oh, damn.
No,
we actually have a pretty decent karaoke crew amongst our people.
yeah.
Like when we've been out, like people rock it out. They do. They sing pretty well.
Well, I'm the front man. They all sing better than me, so that sucks.
Yeah, actually, tell us about your thing, man.
Oh, Hydro.
Tell us about what's happening.
Oh,
Love
quite
the
a bit.
show.
We just started. Thank you. You can check us out live already, since we can't do shows right now, and that's what a time to start a band. We got 3 shows under our belt, and then like, oh nope, sorry, you can't. God knows when we can perform again. But no, we just started recording again. We're gonna have an EP out this October. Hopefully before Halloween, because it will be Halloween themed. And then we're going to release a single soon right after, and that will be a sneak preview to our full-length album that'll hopefully come out around June or July.
What's going on with our favorite song? Is it gonna be? Is it going?
That's the one's getting released, baby.
Yeah, that's how
Where do you know? No, I've already heard that. We've just recorded that first. It sounds fucking awesome, and we're also putting a whole new beginning on it. It's going to make it a lot more fun.
Like I told you, man, my favorite song of that show was the one where you're singing.
Yep.
I'm serious. I would like to see more of that.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
That's
good.
Yeah, man,
well, don't worry,
really
dude.
good.
On this EP, not to spoil too much, I'm gonna have it's gonna be all over the place. That was like my only qualm with the first one, even though our first EP has the songs are pretty different. It still kind of bleeds together to me. I told Ben, like, I want each song to have like its own signature, not like a signature on an album. I want each song, and they're all going to sound really different. Like, we're going to have, if you like my singing, I'm actually going to do like a Buddy Holly-esque type song.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, so just imagine if Buddy Holly was still alive, he got to use modern equipment and want to do a Halloween song.
One of the best after tripping on psychedelic moments I can remember is when Sergio and Allison and I were in Michigan, and we were coming down. Everybody was like coming to, and I hit Buddy Holly on the radio, and it was just like, that'll be the day
when you say goodbye.
Oh man, it was
That'll be
awesome,
the day.
dude. It was like, it brought all of our spirits up. But no, that's badass.
And I love the performance.
Never thought of
too.
Buddy
Theater.
Holly as tripping music, but there you go.
I also like the theater element in it. I also like this
in their performance.
Yeah.
Hydro
Hydrolazer.
And
Oh yeah. Oh no, trust me.
There's kind of like this interesting conversation between the viewer and the band.
Oh yeah. No, we're all about
like it. I really like it.
Because we know, I mean,
the whole thing.
It's punk. It's like punk music, but but we know we're not going to wow anybody with our technical ability, even though, but by all means, like fucking Ben and Brand are awesome. But it's just basically about like Dead Kennedys, and a lot of our sounds based on, if you want an easy coupling, it's like Dead Kennedys and Devo, right? Mm-hmm. But like Dead Kennedys, though, we want to bring back the fun to punk, instead of all this aggressive shit. Like everybody's ready to beat up each other. Like when we saw me, I love a good wild show, but like we really want, if wherever we get to perform live again, I strongly encourage you to come out and see us, because we're gonna really impress. We got a lot of ideas. We're gonna have projectors. Like we really want to put on a whole show.
Dude, if it's fucking live, I mean, well, first of all, if it's actually safe, we would just have you play here.
Sure. Absolutely.
But I mean, yeah, that's the kind of shit that I would like to see more of. I would like to see people make it into like a real show.
Obviously.
You know what I mean? Like, not that there's not a real show. I mean, some bands actually stripped down is the way to go. It's like watching them strip down.
Like Idols does not need to put on a fucking theater performance for you. Like, you want them raw and straightforward, and they're fucking awesome.
But that's cool that you're thinking of doing that.
Oh, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, but yeah, like Sergio was talking about in this video, where we got helmets on, we got our fun sci-fi glasses and lab coats and shit. No, it's really fun.
And I was gonna say, Dead Kennedys, you bring them up. That was basically that was like a big thing in Ukraine when the Soviet Union collapsed. We were painting DK all over the place, and it was like our breakout to the punk music,
right? Oh, absolutely,
and everything.
Dude, I knew that logo. I knew that logo probably 10, 12 years before I came into punk. Like I noticed that shit when I was definitely one of the best rock logos of all time.
For sure.
Right? No, and it was. And it was fucking H.R. Geiger that made that shit. I'm pretty sure, because he did the art for them that one time. He had that sex wall he put up on their goddamn album, and I remember him showing that. I read a story like he showed it to Jello, and then later that night he just saw the fucking logo everywhere in the club.
Yep.
Because it's a fucking badass logo.
Oh yeah.
And in fact, we have a logo kind of like, well, at least not like it, but like it's the two letters of our band stick together. So speaking of, and that's what I want to bring back, because that's what's awesome about Dead Kennedys is, it's got an edge to it, but it's still fucking fun as hell, and it's not just party music. Like, they take real topics, they take real, real solid things, but they make it fun.
Yeah.
And I hope to bring some of that back. Shout out to you, Jello.
Woo, woo. Right on.
Woo, woo. Thanks for the compliment, Bret.
I met him in 2008 at the Democratic National Convention.
You. Seriously?
Oh yeah.
You met Jello?
Yeah. At the Democratic National Convention in Denver when we were protesting. And
you were protesting the convention?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we had a big show at the Pepsi Center, and Jello was the MC for the show. And so he hosted the Iraq Veterans Against the War fundraiser and everything. It was badass. Yeah, dude, the guy from... What's his name from MC5 played?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Boots Riley was there. Rage Against the Machine
shit.
played, dude. Yeah, it was fucking killer, dude. We got to hang with all those cats. We got to march with them.
Got to hang with Rage?
Got to drink scotch with Tom Morello. Hell yeah, dude. It was badass.
Well, I wasn't there.
Dude, we got to hang out with Rage on 3 different occasions.
Yep.
Like straight chilling, smoking fucking joints and drinking scotch and beers.
They gave us tickets. They gave us tickets at LA Rising. I was on a little tour after organizing, and we came up to their Suburban. We're like, "Yo, we're IVAW." It was all day. It was De La Rocha and shit. They were sitting in there. They gave us the tickets. They're like, "Here you go, guys. Thanks." We're like, "Oh yeah, thank you, man."
Yeah, the first time was at Silver Springs, Maryland, when we did the Winter Soldier hearings, and Tom Morello played this private show for us, and it was killer. It was awesome, man. Fucking killer.
I'm the one in the band, and I feel like the fucking music layman over here.
No, man. Well, there's a lot of cool stories from the Bush era, because there were so many bands and celebrities who were a part of the anti-war movement. So all these celebrities and bands were doing shit or donating to groups or playing fundraisers or speaking at rallies, and IVAW was one of the central groups doing all this work. And so we got to meet all kinds of
security
cool cats.
for them as well.
Yeah, Mark Strudis and I got to work security for Morello for a whole weekend. We just followed him around for 3 days.
I couldn't make it. I was in Florida, but
it was fuck, dude. We were 5 feet away we were 5 feet away from the guy for 3 days. It was killer. It was awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Do you remember your conversation? You said you had a conversation with Jello, or at least like kind of met him?
Oh, yeah. He was a sweaty, hyperactive mess.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
He was exactly how you would imagine him being.
Just a cartoon come to life, basically, right?
Like, exactly. Like, it's like, no, you don't turn off. Like, this cat's on.
Was he all...
with the voice and the whole deal.
It's like, hey, Vinny, come on, settle down. Like, stop being so serious, Vinny.
At the same thing, we got to meet Ron Kovic as well.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he was marching. He was at the show. He was like, so I'm standing next to him while Rage is playing, and I'm like, what do you, in between the song, I'm like, what do you think? You know, he's in his wheelchair. I'm like, what do you think of this? And he's like, shit's a lot different than the 60s, man. Like, him and his wife were there, dude, and Rage is just fucking going nuts. There's 10,000 people in the Pepsi Center going wild, and he's in his wheelchair rocking out, and he was just like, this is a lot different than the 60s shit.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's
it's hard to go as hard with fucking Bob Dylan going,
shit, dude, when I saw them at LA Rising in 2011, there were 5, it was in the stadium, I think.
Right.
I don't know, whatever that stadium is.
Yeah, the LA Coliseum.
Right. Yeah, LA Coliseum. There were 5 or 6 bonfires going on, and people were dancing around them. They were trying to shut them down, and then they would put them out, and then they would come up again. Dude, it was crazy.
No, could you imagine like being security during a Rage show? Like, just like, this is the worst job in the world.
Dude,
like,
he gave us.
It gets scary. I'm sure it gets like no other show from my understanding gets as scary as like Rage, because like so many people get so hyped up.
Oh yeah, we say actually it all ties together in what I was just going to tell you, which is that another cool thing Morello did for Sergio and I is he gave us backstage passes for Lollapalooza when Rage was playing the year. It was like 2008. Dude, it was awesome. I mean, we got to like walk around wherever the fuck we wanted to go. Like we're just in Grant Park chilling. Like we're backstage. Perry Farrell's back there with his wife and shit.
Kids running everywhere.
That's
it was so wild. We're just like, that's him. He looks like a fucking mannequin. Like, look at his face. Like, just pulled back. Just
right.
He's
got those just one distinguishing facial feature after the other, right?
But when Rage started, all hell broke loose, and there were these two like looked like something out of like a modeling magazine. 2 women from LA, and they're like, they come next to Sergio and I, and they're like, hey, they're like talking about the show. They're like, have you guys ever seen Rage? And we're like, you guys better get ready. Like, they had fucking high heels on and shit.
Yeah.
We're like, yo, you guys
4
better
5,
get ready.
4 3,
dude, and all fucking.
Well, those, remember the other girls, there was like 5 small girls like pushing through us, and they're like, excuse me, we're heading, we want to get up there. And I looked at them and I was like, you better be careful, you're gonna get killed. Anyways, they keep going to the front.
Right. That's not a good idea.
Dude, first probably 5 seconds when they start playing, they were all rushing out of there.
Do they always start with?
They had to stop the show 3 times.
Oh,
yeah, they stopped it, and then they kept asking people to like move back, and people were getting crushed. Yeah, these 2 chicks just were freaking out. We had to basically protect them like the whole show. We're just like, Jesus. And then it was great because it was the summer. So it's the summer going into the 2008 election, and De La Roca's like, yeah. He's like, fuck Barack Obama. He's like, fuck it. And like, dude, all these people are just like, huh? Like, they're like, we're in Chicago. We're in Grant Park. Like, it's 3 months away. It's actually August. So you're talking 2 months away from the election, like, or 3 months.
Right.
Oh, dude, it was great. Like,
almost riots too. People were climbing those lights. Remember the lights in the streets? People were just climbing everything after the show.
Speaking of riots, I'll tell you this one. There's
Riot, and the unbeatable high.
You can look it up. So Judas Priest. So it's 2005 Ozfest San Bernardino, which is like the biker capital of California. We're at the Ozfest show. It's the last show that Judas Priest plays on this tour because they got into a huge fight at this show. So like Sharon Osbourne comes out, she's talking shit. Who's the lead singer from Judas Priest?
Rob Halford.
Halford's out, or not Halford. I'm sorry, it's Iron Maiden.
Oh,
it's that little prick.
Oh, I can't.
You know
remember.
who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know who you're talking
So
about.
Iron Maiden. I'm sorry for Judas Priest fans out there. It was Iron Maiden.
Sorry, Jake.
Fucking
this later.
Fucking Iron Maiden, and there's this huge fight, and then it comes onto the stage. Like Sharon Osbourne comes out on stage, and she's like, "Oh fuck Judas or fuck Iron Maiden," and the other guy comes out, and he's like, "That fucking bitch," and this and that, and then so all these fans start fighting each other, and then Black Sabbath comes out, and Ozzy's just like, "Oh, sorry, everybody,
No need to what now. No need to
as
what."
soon as they hit the music, it was like a switch went off in that dude's head. Like the music hit and the fucking notes started coming out nice. Like dude sounded like he was going to fall over when he walked out. And then when the music hit, he just started ripping into it. And he sounded decent. I mean, this was 15 years ago.
Sure.
And he didn't sound bad at all.
No.
And people were burning shit. You had skinheads, Chicano gangbangers. You had fucking Marines everywhere. Dude, it was a fucking Hell's Angels. Dude, Hell's Angels, Mongols. You had first aid helicopters flying into the fucking field, into the lawn section to pull people out. Yeah. It was great. It was a fucking the craziest show ever. And Ozfest that year, because of all the rah-rah military shit during that time, asked the Marine Corps to provide security. So the security guards at the Ozfest were all Marines, and then you had white biker gangs, you had Chicano biker gangs, and then heavy metal fucking drunk people.
That is
dude, it was nuts.
That is an ocean of testosterone.
It was like one of the only times in my life that I felt genuine fear, where I was like, any fucking thing can happen right now.
This is an Iraqi war veteran, folks.
Yeah, I'm just like anything. Like I'm looking around and I'm like, anything can happen.
I heard a lot of Marines abandon their posts too. I heard they were like, fuck this and get the fuck out of there.
Well, it was great because people were like throwing shit, and we're sitting there as fans, and we're watching these fans throw shit at these Marines who are security, and we're like, should we do? We're like, no. We're like, dude, they signed up for this shit. We came to the concert because we wanted to see the show. These dumbasses tried to do it the cheap way and be security. We're like, fuck them.
We had some guys like, from our unit.
That's how strong our bonds went that day. We're like, good luck, brothers. We're like,
how many thousands of people were there?
Oh, dude, tens of thousands.
Yeah, easy.
Fuck. But yeah, you can look it up. Like it's like a famous like 2005 San Bernardino Ozfest is when the tour broke up. Like Iron Maiden left the tour. There was a big falling out. It was awesome. It was fucking awesome.
Perfect place too, San Bernardino.
And that's the shame of those shows is like, I love a good heavy metal show. I love a good punk show. Mm-hmm. But sometimes just the stupidest shit happens at these shows. And I'm just like, fuck, man. Where like, I've been to tons of jam band shows and they're awesome. Like they're fucking awesome. Like, like I've been to like Dead shows where like if you bump into somebody, like, oh hey man, I'm sorry. Like you
got any hash, bro?
Shit.
Are you tripping yet, bro?
I like it though. I'm like, oh look at all these people.
Easy.
Hey, yeah,
easy there, fucking Mr. Heavy Hardcore scene.
But no,
I've been to very sissy shows. Don't worry.
Let me. I want to ask you. Let me ask you another question about Hydro Lazer. So who writes the songs and how do you guys do it? Like, is it words first, concept first, music first, then words? How's it go? Or is it different every time?
For our first EP, it was basically actually it was Ben and Brandon doing some of the songs Brandon wrote, who's normally the drummer, and then that's why if you see us live, we actually will switch. So he wrote some of the songs, and then Ben wrote some of the songs. I think I added like a few parts, like, hey, you should add this part or make it go, or I do a little like, hey, I know I told him like because he had this really awesome soft part, which is the end of the EP, and I'm like, you should put this at the end of this song, and I actually think but I come up with all the lyrics. All the word associations, me, all the titles, and in regards to what you can say about my talents, or if I have any, I can at least say, and this is sort of my pledge in this band, all of our song titles, at least, because I can't stand like generic song titles. I have all original song titles. all the time. I literally I'll go on the internet and make sure that they're original because I think it's fair to say there's not a song title out there called Hedge Fund Collider.
Right on.
Hell yeah.
Or Elephant Cyborgs or Comet Strut. I'm actually kind of surprised Comet Strut wasn't taken. Thought Speed Travel, I try and keep it up with the sci-fi theme. But in this one, I wrote the Buddy Holly song, and we're going to have a cool, almost industrial electronic pop song.
Awesome.
Yeah. I wrote that song, and it made me happy because Brandon and Ben were kind of fighting over the bass, who got to play the bass. Because man, that's a really cool riff. I'm like, oh, thanks, guys. Right Not bad for a guy who doesn't really play an instrument besides a little piano here and there. But yeah, and then I think the songs I didn't rate, I think Ben wrote most of the songs for this next one.
And how's during the time of COVID? How do you guys approach it? Do you still meet? Or do you have some kind of rules, regulations? I mean, do you just come up with stuff at home and then bring it in together? How's that process?
We've been we were a little, we took a month or two break, and then we all got tested for COVID. So we figured it was okay to hang out then. And especially because I'm actually going to be moving into Hydro Lazer house soon. Nice. So that will help production, I'm sure. Our productivity. And then but no, it's been besides we obviously can't play shows and that's brutal, but Ben will be doing, but I guess they are bringing back shows eventually pretty soon here, maybe to your chagrin, but because Ben works at the Underground Lounge, so we should be able to be doing shows there pretty soon because he does sound for them. So but hopefully eventually we will get to play here because this is actually I've always wanted to play here, obviously, since I saw my first show here, but also Ben also wants to do sound and work here because he loves your guys' space as well because this place is awesome. So if they open back up, people,
appreciate it.
Get the fuck out here and see shows because it's awesome here.
Oh, dude, I don't think that'll be a problem for sure. I definitely think people will be, they'll be rearing to go, man. I mean, we're also, that's probably a conversation for another day, but we there will definitely be time to have some shows at some point. I know that people, I think the thing that's driving that, it's not really to my chagrin. It's more or less is it that the science is driving that, or is it that these people have business concerns at this point? I mean, at this point, these businesses in Chicago cannot stay closed. They stay closed for another 6 months and they're fucking done.
Oh yeah, I already got a few. Actually, went to go buy flowers, and I was like, "Oh shit!" That flower shop I went to before is no longer here.
Yeah, man.
hit up Franklin House as well if you guys want to play.
Oh, we're way ahead of you.
Oh, okay.
No. Serge, remember, I've known Bukrevsky forever.
I got you.
Yeah. But great guy though. Yeah, we love the Bukrevsky, but he's being safe. He's not even doing karaoke yet, so it'll probably be a little bit. Oh, trust me, I
think they did it yesterday. It was first time. Yeah, with the masks on and shit like that.
Oh, okay, great. So here's hoping. Oh yeah, no, trust me. As soon as we get the chance, we're performing Franklin House like that.
Yeah.
And another thing we should do is let's plan now for some kind of an outdoor show. As soon as it gets nice, let's set up an outdoor show. Let's have I wish we could.
The roof. Fucking, Hydro Lazer can be the punk Beatles.
Hell yeah.
Because we can do a block thing too, right?
Sure.
If we get a block permit from the city, we can actually have a block backed out, and make it.
You could. It would be badass. I mean, I would love to have you guys up there. You should just redo the set from that day.
Well, hopefully a lot more songs than that, but yes.
Yeah, because they did a handful or something?
Yeah, we just did 3. So, because it was a huge. Did you catch me in the beginning when I said? Because it's funny because it was a hip hop podcast, so there was 3 MCs that performed right after us, and that's why in the beginning I'm like I'm a sci-fi punk band here to set the tone terribly for a goddamn punk podcast, for a hip hop podcast. So, but no, it was so fun. No, all the guys were super supportive. They hit us up on Instagram and stuff like that, and there was a lot of cool. And, and just check out. And I should say, check out the Dog and Pony Show in general because they got a lot of cool MCs on there.
Right on.
Well, it's interesting because when you have a contrast, the music sounds.
Oh, absolutely.
It
I love
bolds, like it actually sticks out more.
Of course.
Than if you have the same thing.
Because it goes into my theory.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you just have like 3 punk bands or whatever in a row, it's all going to kind of bleed together. Yep. Like, I did one of the best nights of my life is I actually had a show at my house that Dan's not supposed to know about. We had a quote card game that night, and we had a show. Dude, it started off with a fucking folk set, like a fast folk set with a goddamn lute, or no, sorry, a mandolin with a mandolin plugged in. That was amazing. And then it was like a punk band. Then it was this crazy grindcore band, one of the best bands of all time, Decrypt, Hollow Decrypt. And then after that, it was like a horror punk band. It was fucking awesome. Like just just completely different from one another.
Fucking A. No, I'm bummed that we can't do something for Halloween.
Oh, don't get me started.
I'm bummed. It's my favorite holiday. It reminds me of music and, live shows, having fun, all that shit.
Well, so super sad. It bums me out because we actually got invited to do because the place where we did the podcast, it's a really cool art center out in Chicago. And we got invited.
What's it called?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's right on.
Not that fucking cool, huh?
No.
I'm joking.
Just look up Dog and Pony Show podcast. It's there, but it's on Western Avenue. I know that. But no, they invited us to, the guy liked our performance so much, he invited us to do the Halloween show.
Awesome.
Cool.
But we can't because my goddamn drummer, he works at the pizza place and Halloween's mandatory.
We got a drummer here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, no, I know. We did have a drum set here though, man, and we came down here and jammed
out.
Oh fuck yeah! I love to learn drums.
I'm gonna get a little cheap set to put down here just so we have shit to jam.
Yeah, if anybody knows, if anyone's listening and they're in Northwest Indiana, if you guys know any cheap drum sets, let us know.
Yeah. I have one I can give you. I got.
Oh really?
Yeah. Shit, the kick drum's busted out, so you have to fix the kick drum. But
I got a flute, I got a bass, I got an electric guitar. Baby,
revival of Jethro Tull.
I'm all in. I love it, dude. I'm telling you,
heavy metal artist
man.
of the year,
dude. Speaking of me being an ignoramus and music layman, I had no idea. I totally thought Jethro Tull was a person, and when they told me the guy died, I thought,
who?
The band Jethro Tull. I thought it was like a guy, but no, it was like the name of the band.
They won heavy metal artist of the year one year
over Metallica. Beat out Metallica for
what year?
89, I think. 90.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Like the goofiest thing that's ever happened.
That's awesome. That's actually.
I love it.
I was like, if it was 2000, then I can understand.
I personally love it as.
Man,
as not the biggest fan of Metallica, I thought it was fucking hilarious. They got beat out by a flute band.
Hell yeah.
I can't say I'm the biggest fan, but I like. Sure. Sometimes when they come on, I'm like, yeah, sometimes it hits and I'm like, I fucking love this shit. Like Harvester of Sorrow, fuck you. That song is
or when Brock Lesnar would come out to Enter Sandman.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, they apologized. We saw them, what was it, 2009 or 2010 at the Bonner Room. Yeah, 2009. And they were, it was just
Chris Rock introduced him.
Yeah, he was like, he's like, sorry guys, sorry for the last album. It was shit. He's like, we're not gonna fuck up again.
Great, dude. Gee, Sergio, what album was that?
God damn it! Oh, damn.
Oh no! I was being facetious. I wasn't actually making a joke. I wasn't saying like all their albums are bad, but
I know that's what I.
I know that's not what I meant actually. But I'll take it. That's pretty funny.
My lifestyle determines my death style. My lifestyle determines my death style.
Some kind of monster. Some kind of monster.
That's some STP shit right there.
Oh God. It's a shame when bands do that to themselves. See, this is why I think I'm glad Jim Morrison died, I'm glad Jimi Hendrix died. I'm glad
the drummer from
dude. Because who knows? Because he's wild. He's wearing crazy shit, and he's wild in the early fucking 70s, dude. It's like, what does Jimmy do? Like, what does he end up as by the time the 80s come around? Like, what the fuck does Jimi Hendrix end up doing?
Unfortunately, none of those people you mentioned before are a tenth of cool as fucking Jimi Hendrix, because he's easily like
disco.
Yeah, because to me, Jimi Hendrix, speaking of sexual attraction to men, he's the most sexy man of all time without like overt maleness. You know what I mean? Like, he's so like he could get any woman he wanted or whatever. And he didn't have to, but he was fucking Mr. Flower Child. Like, you know, like he didn't have to be macho at all because he's so fucking badass. I don't need any of that fucking shit.
Maybe they would take a break like a lot of the 90s bands took a break in 2000 and now they're, you know,
dead.
Mm-hmm. But don't say
now they're all dead. They're all fucking dead. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like,
but don't get back to it. First off,
suicide.
It's definitely,
dude. I mean, can you imagine like Jimmy like playing at like could be like a county fair, dude. I mean, seriously, like if he played long enough, dude, bullshit. People say that because he's dead. I'm saying if the motherfucker stuck around and never made another good thing and just ended up playing his same old songs, dude, people would be like, oh, good, it's Jimmy at the Super Bowl. Like,
it wouldn't be.
Who knows? Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, I don't have faith that he wouldn't have ended up at the Super Bowl.
Okay, I'll leave. Oh yeah. Look, if fucking Tom Petty and the Who are gonna make it to the Super Bowl, surely Jimmy is.
Well, depends,
the Who are terrible.
No.
Okay, so
at the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
well, they were awful.
Everybody, I mean, nobody should play a fucking song at the Super Bowl. It's crazy.
Except for Prince, because he was fucking amazing at the Chicago Bears Super Bowl.
I know,
but he totally put up that fucking dick, like right
what
on
about
the fucking
Janet Jackson?
Oh yeah,
that
absolutely.
was like that caught the you know
sure
all the religious and all the very conservative people freaked out.
Shut up.
Couldn't see a titty.
It was terrible.
But no,
it's a darker moment than this moment.
We'll agree to disagree about Jimi Hendrix, but you can't tell me that about fucking like Buddy Holly and Otis Redding needed to live because they were just scratching the surface. Like, dude, Buddy, how many songs that motherfucker popped out in 20? He was only 22 when he died, Buddy Holly. Dude, he invented so many production.
Could have been another Dylan.
He died before psychedelic.
Yeah. Could have just been another Dylan.
No, first off, Bob Dylan made like a bazillion songs before he spent out. You know?
No, I know. I'm just saying though, but like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like some of these cats, I'm glad that they're gone because I wouldn't have wanted them to just. I like thinking them as like awesome. They did their thing. They fucking came out with superb music. Great. They left it, and it's like I don't have to think of them as some old.
But like, and even if Buddy Holly didn't write any good music, he would have been an amazing producer. Bobby Holly, because I mean he invented all the shit that the Beatles did for the most part, and the Beatles picked up on, you know.
Yeah, that's different than writing songs. I hear you there. I hear you.
And then Otis Redding, like that was his first song, I think, or like one of his first, like that was his first pop song he wrote that he even fucking finished. I don't know if you know about that, about Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. That's not a finished song. He just had a feeling like, man, this song's so good, I gotta hurry up and get to the studio and record this in case something happens. And there you go. And that's why it ends with the whistle.
I like a lot of his love songs, like These Arms of Mine are great.
Oh, don't get me started, son. Like a Pain in My Heart and all that shit. Yeah. Oh, no. I'll go on days and days about fucking Otis Redding. No, that motherfucker needed to live. Like, he was amazing.
Yeah. No,
especially because he wouldn't have been a wash-up either, because, like, he didn't pursue the party lifestyle. He was a family guy. His family went on tour with him. Like,
when did he die?
68, I think.
Yeah, not until 79 or 80 when he would go to a fucking disco and do some fucking cocaine.
Yeah,
everything would change
real
quick.
He might have been a bit older then.
Come on, whatever. Fuck your couch. Rick James.
He's a good old Southern boy. You leave him alone, Yankee.
Wait, what state was he from?
Georgia, buddy.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Did he stay there or did he move up north to Chicago?
He lived in Georgia. No, he stayed in Georgia. Yeah. No, he signed
that's where Charles is from, right? Ray Charles?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, he wrote the song.
Yeah,
he wrote the song Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia. Now Ray Charles is a partying motherfucker.
Dude, his shit's badass, too.
Right, and he wrote to the 80s, man. His biggest hit came out in the 80s, like...
Yeah.
He kept going for a while.
Well, in the 80s, man, I mean, I don't know how hard it would be to make like a hit with everything that was going on. I mean, obviously I wasn't here, but I watched it in the movies, baby.
Right. Anything with the beat and remotely catchy was a hit song, right?
Dude,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That was the pre-dark ages.
Oh, I remember those.
Right now.
I remember the Ray Charles Diet Pepsi commercials. Oh, I remember.
Yeah, whatever. You got to make that money, man.
Oh, fuck yeah.
You're not gonna make it off of you're not gonna make that much money off going and touring all year and just instead
Ray
of
Charles
just
probably
it.
got some dough though.
No, for sure, but
He might
more
fall
dough
into
is
that.
always better. Than
Although you're talking about the boy.
True.
And this day and age, like, I mean, all these other guys are fucking making still amazing music in their 50s, like Radiohead and Deftones. Like, all those guys are old fucks now.
Yeah.
Dude, Deftones have been the same band since they were fucking 15.
Few and far between though.
Oh, of course. I mean, it's still.
That's the only reason. I mean, I'm halfway joking when I say that, but it's like that's why I say that, because it's like there's so few bands that as they get older. I mean, Tom Waits is another guy. I mean, he's a guy who, if you go album by album, it just keeps getting different, and you're like, this is fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, love me to Tom. Tom the Bomb.
Like anybody who can change, do different things, add to their sound, that's all cool to me. But like listening to some of these, like seeing the Rolling Stones try and do the same show that they've done for the last like 30
it's
years.
the fucking
like,
Rolling Stones. Like, get the fuck out of here.
That's upsetting.
trademark. I mean,
But he did have
that's
that.
what it is, really.
To be fair, Mick Jagger even had that pretty good song. Although I think that was just a Mick Jagger song, though. Anybody See My Baby? That's a good song that came out in the 90s. Anybody see my baby?
I don't even remember that.
It was the one where he's like, it's in black and white, and he's walking around like he's a giant over a city.
Jesus.
Speaking of being influenced by cocaine.
That's why it probably didn't get anywhere. That's why we haven't heard about it.
No, it was a huge hit. It was a huge
Oh, was
hit.
it?
You guys
Okay.
are just young, that's all.
Oh, how old are you?
2 years older than you, fucking.
Oh,
2 years
oh,
older than me.
It clearly makes a difference. You
Oh,
guys don't
shit.
remember the song.
So while I was
No, I didn't
talking
listen to
over-
shitty ass fucking rock and rollers from the 70s. What
Jesus.
the fuck? Yeah, I didn't. I mean, when people were wearing around like Bridges to Babylon
Now it's the
t-shirts,
fucking.
I was
who's
like,
the music snobs now, fuckers.
I was like, who the people were wearing around like, Bridges to Babylon t-shirts, and I'm like, what the fuck album is that? And they're like, dude, it's the new Rolling Stones album. I'm like, you fucking loser! Like, you never heard of Ice Cube, motherfucker? Like, you never heard of Notorious B.I.G. or Mobb Deep or Nas? Like, the fuck?
Oh,
God.
yeah, Mobb Deep.
Hell yeah, dude, that was my shit when I was younger. That's what I was
and
listening
I'm
to.
getting shit, and I'm just getting, and I'm getting,
Memphis Bleak.
and I'm getting shit just for doing impressions of people at jam bands, and you guys are like, oh fuck anybody else that doesn't like Ice Cube.
Hey, man.
I'm just saying, in the 90s.
Hey, I never heard of jam bands until I fucking came for the first time in 2007 or... Yeah, 2007. Me and Johnny came here and we met you guys at the Shoreline Brewery. And they had a jam bands, and I was just like, I was looking around and I was like, oh, why are these people dancing like this? And all like, it was like that hippie stroll thing. Yeah, I've never been exposed to it, you know. So I was like, oh, what's going on here?
No, the wait, what were we? What were we just saying before that?
Jam bands.
No, I know.
No,
before jam
we're
bands.
talking about Rolling Stones and like people like going past their prime and stuff like that.
Yeah, fuck.
Right after that, though.
Yeah, it was right after that, before the jam band thing.
Oh.
It's okay.
Oh no! Well, I was giving you guys shit about like, like making fun of people. Who
Oh no,
hate
hip
Rolling
hop,
Stone-
dude. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, hip hop was
sure.
like that was the shit that I mean, to me, obviously, the two cool things that were going on was like, oh, okay, there's these guys from Seattle, and that seemed cool because all these chicks that were older than me were into that shit. So like all of our friends who had older sisters, I was like, oh, like, you know, like one of my friends, Joe McGrath, his older sister, Emily, like her and her friends were like the hottest chicks I had ever seen at that moment. Like I was like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
I'm like,
hippies can grip
I'm
the
like,
chicks, yeah.
no. I'm like 10, 11 years old and they're like listening to 9 Inch Nails and like Nirvana and Soundgarden and all this shit. And I'm like L7. And I'm like, yeah, what is this shit? Like this is fucking must be cool. But then Rodney came from East Chicago and we started listening to all this hip hop shit. And we were like, I was like, oh, this is even more badass. I'm like, this is like people fucking shooting each other and I'm like dealing drugs. Like this is wild. And it pissed off my parents and my teachers and my coaches more than any other type of music.
It's gotta be depressing to have a parent that's really into hip hop.
Yeah, I mean,
it's gotta feel so weird.
Dude, I got a funny story for that.
Please.
I mean, that was what 90, all right, 97, 98, 99, 2000 or 2001, and I fell in love with Tupac and Memphis Bleak and all that shit. Ooh, and then I was in school, and this girl, obviously I'm a fucking immigrant with accent, she comes up to me, and her name was, actually I remember, Rachel. And she came up to me, and she was like, I gotta ask you a question, because I'm always listening to Tupac and shit. She's like, why are you, well, she just said Russians, but whatever, you know. She's like, why you Russians love rap? And I looked at her, and I was like, why wouldn't you?
Right.
It was like the coolest thing ever, man. It's like going to fucking Disneyland, you know what I'm saying, and seeing Mickey Mouse for the first time. It's like the fucking, no, it's just like, it's really entertaining, you know?
Not too
badass. It's just like the soul, you know, the lyrics, obviously, the music, the beats, like the whole thing. It was real, you know? It was like really, really real.
Totally different,
I loved
too.
it. Yeah, I loved it real.
I mean, it wasn't going on anywhere else in the world.
Not to expose too much of my personal life, but I actually saw this Russian chick on Chatterbait, and she was playing NWA. She's like, yeah, fuck the police. I was like, this is hot. That's charming.
Hell yeah. Fuck the police.
There's nothing better than when I see foreigners into like rap music. Like, when
that accent makes it so charming.
Yeah, dude, the whole accent, the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
that was the best. That, I mean, to me, the hip hop stuff was. I don't know, man. Now, yeah, the hip hop today I'm not interested in for the most part. Second of all,
I've really got something to show you. I can't wait. It's the most excited I've been about a hip hop artist in a while.
Yeah,
since Run the Jewels. It's fucking amazing.
Send it, please.
Absolutely.
No, but that was the stuff. I mean, to me, that was like the most rebellious shit you could be into in the 90s. Like the other stuff just seemed too depressing too, and I wasn't.
Oh yeah, it was just heroin rock forever.
Yeah, like I wasn't quite. I don't know. It's weird because it kind of resonated more when I got older and you start thinking about shit. But like when I was younger, it was like, yo, I just wanted to get laid, smoke weed, and I was like, that's hip hop. Like, like that's what it was. It was like you put on rap music and you smoke weed, and
you got to zoom in the boom boom boom.
It's funny that you say that.
Just shake your bro.
It's funny that you say that because when I was talking to Max, we were talking about the 90s and music, and I was like, if you like, even if you look at even the goofiest fucking bands, but if you look at those bands and the lyrics and everything, like it was very, I'll use the term woke because it's
especially Nas, motherfucker, especially Nas.
Bands.
I felt like it was a lot about like the life and the things that are going on, and like as you were saying, like something to think about when you get older and stuff like that. But just in general, how the 90s part, it was in that.
I like the 90s. I like a lot of the pop culture shit from the 90s.
Sure.
Actually.
Weird fucking decade, that's for goddamn sure.
It was, but I mean, cool movie. There were some cool movies that came out, good music.
Sure.
Yeah, now, I mean, I don't know. Like, pop culture since 9/11 has really been shit. I mean, really shit. Like, what in the fuck?
Well, like, we got the dawn of the TV series, though. It's been awesome for television, culturally.
Yeah, that's true. The television series have been popping up like crazy.
Yeah, you know, you got your Sopranos, you got your Deadwood, you got your The Americans is fucking badass, especially if you want some subversive shit against America.
I like True Detective, man.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that first season of True Detective for sure.
I actually didn't mind the second one as much as everybody hated it.
Hot take.
Everybody hated it, dude. I mean, people hated it.
I mean, Colin Farrell was fucking awesome in that show. But
I like Colin Farrell, too. That's another guy who I really like.
Really
I like Tigerland. I like Alexander.
I could almost see. I could almost see making a case for the second season if it wasn't for that fucking ending. That ending was atrocious.
Oh, the ending really bummed me out, dude.
With Vincent Vaughn walking in the desert. It was bad.
It was like
cheesy.
That actually pissed me off more than anything else in that. Because the actress in that season is really good. She's in Yellowstone.
You guys are on Yellowstone, huh? My parents love that
dude,
show.
I've been on it since the first episode.
Oh, shit.
I just watch it
it's
when
the only
he watches
TV
it,
show I've watched since True Detective.
It's good, man. It's good.
I like it.
It's good.
It's like a neo-Western mafia movie is what it reminds me of.
Kind of like watching dirty fucking comedy, like really dark, dirty comedy. Like it's.
I mean, is there since I already gave myself away with Chatterbait, or is there a lot of nudity in it, or what?
Yeah, there's a decent amount.
Okay, all right. Give me
just the dialogue, man. Just the fucking dialogue. I mean, obviously not obviously the scenes and the shots are fucking incredible.
It's got to be easy with Yellowstone.
But the dialogue, man. I mean, I really enjoy dialogue and just the way. Yeah, it's good.
Taylor Sheridan is the writer.
Okay.
Same cat as all those other.
Wait, as what? What's he done?
Wind River, Sicario, Hell or High Water.
All right, fair enough. Yeah,
all those like neo westerns,
and it's got to be awesome to see Kevin Costner in something really good again
as a badass too, right? Like not as some it's great, like not in like a love story role.
Yeah, not as fucking Robin Hood, like he's an actual he's got some weight to him.
Although the one scene in Robin Hood that I love is when they got that guy in that cage. And he's like skinned alive, and he's fucking tied to that like bird cage in the air.
Whoa! Oh,
you know what I mean? Like they go to that like abandoned. Okay. I remember being a little kid and being like,
I forgot that movie got dark, son.
Dude,
especially the witch. Dark. How terrifying the witch lady was.
Yes, I want to watch it again. Actually,
great film.
Robin of Locksley.
Well, hey, you guys don't have to end, but I told Allison that I'd be upstairs, so I have to go.
What time? Where we at right now?
Well, you guys are only at hour 30.
Oh, okay. Well,
you guys.
I can usually go. I can easily double that if you want.
You guys are more than welcome to, obviously, but I have to see my lady.
Skedaddle.
Well, she's been up there since since we started.
Aw, what's up, Allison?
No, it's all good. It's all good to me. No, you don't. Like I said, dude, y'all don't have to stop if you don't want.
Yeah. We can do a one-on-one with Sergio.
We just got a test back from Luke. He is negative for COVID, which is good. Which means he's got
our friend
cold.
Our friend thought he had
cold.
it.
Dude, my one friend, her mom got COVID and lost all her fucking hair. Have you heard that?
Oh, dude, there's been so much different. That's why I've been trying to stay safe, dude. I know people. I know people are. I don't know.
It's bad.
The more I listen to Osterholm, and he's like, "Look, we're finding out new shit every week about this. Be safe." I'm like, all right, I'll be safe.
Fair enough.
It's...
Well, hey, brother, I love you.
Love you too,
it's
Vinny.
good.
Thank you so much.
Hell
it's so good to see you.
Space hug.
It's always good to have people here. It's weird. It's different. It's so much different.
Fuck yeah. And let's just do it again. It's fun to have you here.
Let's do it again.
Hey, I think I showed I was a pretty good natural, right? Like, I mean, it's easy with you guys anyway. But.
No, yeah, dude, I love it. I love it. And you brought a good energy, whereas, the last couple times, at least the last time, Jesus, I apologize. All right, guys.
Well, dark times, dark ages.
Actually, before, maybe take a little break because I got to use the restroom. I was going to say to end the hip hop thing and also to shamelessly promote again. I will have to get a little sneak peek for the full album coming up next year. Speaking of hip hop, we have something very special planned. It's going to take a lot of balls on my part, but hopefully we pull it off. So
that's what it takes.
Yes, lots of cojones. All right, I'll be right back. For DoorDash and shit.
Oh, really? Is that what you're doing now?
Yes, sir.
Is that good?
Oh, yeah.
Satisfied
with it?
Free
time, I can do whatever the fuck I want,
That's good, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty safe,
easy to make $500 a week, and that's enough to get me by.
What?
It's pretty easy to make like $500 a week.
500?
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy. Good, man.
Oh, how especially many hours? If you go to Chicago?
How many? Is that where you work at?
No, but you can. Like my buddy makes way more than I do. I usually stop at like 500, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. But like,
correct.
No, you can easily make $800-900 a week if you just like double it up in Chicago, because Chicago never stops.
I did Uber a little bit in Philadelphia, and yeah, man, I really fucking. I mean, if I had a leased car, so I couldn't do it for too long, and I had to find something else. But
sure.
No, man, it was.
Oh shit!
Here's the thing, man. This is what I liked. What I liked is talking to people, and some motherfuckers would get in there, sit down, dude. And I had this. I was in South Philadelphia, so it's very Italian. So I pull up to this house. This guy comes out. He's like, "Shit, sorry, bro." He's like, "Sorry, man." He's like, my fucking lady's taking too long to get ready. He's like, "I'll hook you up, bro. I'll hook you up with the tip." I was like, "No, man, it's cool." I'm saying it's cool. So they get in the car. So they're talking shit to each other for like first fucking 10-15 minutes, and then they start snoring cocaine. They're wiping their nose and shit. They're like, "You didn't see it, did you?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "All right, cool."
Well, you're gonna say, speaking of tips.
No, he did. He tipped me really good with cash, but just in general, I mean, it was a cool thing. I mean, obviously it's a shitty gig gig jobs, so you don't have any protection. So.
I wouldn't do rides. No, I just deliver food.
Yeah, no, I know, but just in general, about that. It's even with you delivering food, do you have some kind of protection, healthcare, minimum wage?
Yeah.
You get healthcare?
Yeah, you have to do a certain amount of deliveries, but they do give you healthcare. You can apply.
Oh shit! Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, Uber Eats, man.
That's a good thing.
Right.
That's a good thing because I know that Uber and Lyft and all in California they
Oh yeah, they fuck people
just
over hard, or they're trying to anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny what they're I think I read that what they're just going to do instead is just set up independent contractors that hire drivers and take care of all that bullshit, and then they will just hire the independent contractors to do the dispatch.
McKinsey and fucking whatever this consulting firm just came out with the report last week. They surveyed 800 different corporations around the world. 25% of them, their budgets or their profit was 10 billion and below. And then
only 10 billion.
Yeah, huh? And then biggest, I'm saying like the biggest employers and shit. And then 75% of that split in half. It was 10 to 20 or 30, and then 30 plus or something like that. And they basically said, man, that the companies are looking for basically the biggest growth in jobs is going to be hygiene, healthcare, gig workers, contractors, and cleaners. They said ventilation specialist, elevator specialists. Yeah, man. I mean, it's not looking good. It's not. That's basically it. And
that's what I'm saying. Like you gotta. If humans can get out of this relatively unscathed, like humanity in general, like you gotta give humans some props. But
here's the thing, man. They said that 30 to 40% of all the jobs that were lost are not coming back. They said 2.7 million restaurant workers they're not coming back. And here's the caveat to it. The caveat to it is that if a business does not have any loans and it's just like making it, when they close, they do not file for bankruptcy. And therefore, the numbers and the statistics are completely veered the fuck off. And by December, like they said, 70 to 80% of all service industry is going to be
70 to 80%.
Yeah. No, dude, our friend Johnny went to Chicago and he said I forgot what neighborhood it was in. He said it was all fucking majority of places were boarded off. This is fucking. I mean, he was there a couple of weeks ago.
And then the dickheads can't figure out that like you still. Like, you can survive, hoarding all this money and stuff like that and the economy, blah, blah, blah. But you also need consumers in the economy. And could you imagine how much with jobs like being waitresses and bartenders and stuff like that, like how many consumers you get out of that because they get so much extra money to actually spend on. And
50 to 60% of people didn't cook. Like, I think the last survey a year ago, 50 to 60% of the population did not cook meals at home for the majority of time. So what does that say? Yeah, I mean, now you're cooking. I mean, that's why the stores were empty. That's why shit was empty. Obviously, the supply chains were we're about to see really the real pressure as this wave kicking off. But I think they said there are 300,000 maritime sailors who have not been able to even step their foot into the ports where they're fucking stuck on their ships. So, and 80% of our fucking food and everything is delivered through the ships. So, I don't know, man. I mean, for me, it was actually obviously studying food and agriculture, political economy, food and agriculture. That was my main thing, and From the start, I was like, hey, this shit's going to get bad.
Yeah.
And so what you start seeing again is that you have these regional blocks so New Zealand, I think it was Singapore, Thailand, and somebody else, they set up this trading block. And they basically said, no matter what happens with this COVID, we are going to be exchanging food. 80% of our food is imported.
Right.
So
it's so ridiculous.
So not like
what a stupid fucking economy.
And so I don't want to complicate it. And actually, I want to explain that in reality. So like 80%, when you talk about 80%, I mean, it can be coming from New Jersey, it can be coming from California, it can be coming from Michigan.
Okay.
Now, obviously, the shit we get from around the world, Central and South American countries.
Sure.
But generally, it's just the communities, and this is where from studying macroeconomics and the economy, Vince was like, man, you came pretty depressed when you came back from my grad school. And dude, I think, because I've never, like, I understood basic economics, but then I had this really cool professor who explained these theories, and he asked all of our students, he was like, hey, who thinks this makes sense? Yeah, people raise their hands.
Sure.
And then he was like, who are the people think that it doesn't make sense?
Here comes
Obviously,
your
I
hand.
was one of them. I was like,
absolutely.
this sounded ridiculous. He was like, no, this is right. It doesn't make sense. No, he was, and he's a really cool, really well-knowledged in what he does. I mean, he always wins the best professor every year because his thing was basically, I am not going to be publishing as many articles as you want me to. I'm going to be concentrating on my curriculum. So my students in the graduate school understand what the fuck this is and what are the things and how it is and why, like all those things. And man, I was learning like really deep economics, like the dirty economics, the dirtiest of the economics. Basically, I did currency. My thesis was under evaluation over evaluation of Chinese renminbi. And so that kind of went into the history of the whole thing, the Bretton Woods and the currencies and all kinds of baskets, pegs, and all that shit.
Basket bags?
Pegs. So like you peg your currencies to specific currencies, like the US dollar was the main. Sure. Nonetheless. No, man, I was like, holy shit, this is extremely complex. Sure. And so me coming from like this, I wanted a revolution, you know what I'm saying? Like anti-war, I've seen fucking war, I've seen all this shit, and I was like, dude, I want revolution. I know, just for people to clear things up, a revolution is actually when you use force to overrun or overtake the government. No, that's the definition of a revolution. Sure. It's not, it's like the Maidan is not a revolution. It was an uprising. Like what's going on right now is uprising. Belarus is not a revolution. It's an uprising. And when I started looking at it, I was like, oh shit, so there are communities, there are regions, there are countries that are completely fucking dependent on other countries or regions to eat. Southwest, let's think about our Southwest fucking desert. Where do you think they get their food from?
Yeah, they're not growing in. They're not fishing in Vegas. That's all that seafood there.
There's a reason why that area was abandoned, and I'm trying to not fuck up the name of the tribe. Fuck. But if you
Navajo?
go,
or no,
Aparaka. I'm fucking up. I'm sorry. It's been a long time since I studied all that shit. But they abandoned that area.
Sure.
The reason why they abandoned that area is number one, because they were doing a lot of logging, and they didn't realize what that was gonna. And they were doing logging like 20 or 30 miles away, and they didn't realize how that was gonna fuck up the whole flow of the water and maintaining the water and not having mudslides and all that shit.
Because I want to see Tom Robbins. Is this that tribe Tom Robbins talked about that like made advanced tributary systems and shit like that, like advanced aqueducts? Because I know that was somewhere in the Southwest.
Dude, that to be honest with you, man, aqueducts were present everywhere.
Sure.
It wasn't even. It's like a zero. It's something interesting. Actually, really fucking interesting. Because Maya came up with the zero at the same time when Arabia came
Right.
out with the
Oh, yeah.
zero.
Well, just like,
exactly same time without
Yep.
any fucking contact.
Right, exactly. Just like how, that's what happened with Newton and Leibniz.
Leibniz, yep.
Yeah, Leibniz. They both invented calculus at the same time, from what they've seen.
Yep.
Algebra, yeah.
It's beautiful. I mean, then this, yeah.
That's what's weird about the human collective unconscious.
Well, it's or just the processes, you know. I mean, like you eventually. I mean, this is the thing with our. I mean, this is why I know. It's funny because I love philosophy, but mainly I love history, like deep history, like far fucking away from here, 30,000, 150,000. Like I like the whole process of us getting to the symbolism, from symbolism to trying to forms of communication to language and all that shit. I mean,
Because I imagine you at least heard of Hardcore History, right? Dan Carlin's Hardcore History podcast.
No.
Oh, okay. It's really huge. Like he's been on.
I like to read, man. Can I tell you something honestly?
Sure.
For me, it's easier to read than listen to a podcast.
Sure.
Or listen to anything.
Oh yeah. No, I was the same way. Like you just gotta. It helps.
Train
like,
yourself.
Right. Well, yeah. When it's like, because like I had all these driving jobs, and it's like, I better learn to listen to these fucking audio books, because otherwise it's gonna get way boring.
In the car, I can.
Okay. Yeah, just take a trip to Chicago and put it, because I was just gonna mention, but Dan Carlin is like easy mode, because he's such a great narrator and he makes it come off like a play, and he really writes it well, and it's really good. But I was just going to say, he has a series, one of his recent series is King of Kings, where he talks about the history of the Persian Empire.
Oh yeah.
And that's ancient, baby. Going, King Cyrus and all that shit like that. And just, he had so much history even before King Cyrus, because, you figure King Cyrus is super old, but he goes into all that history, especially with the Assyrians and all that crazy shit. And one of the things that, sorry, I'm blanking here for a second. What was I going to mention? One of the things that's awesome about the Persian Empire is their religion and everything they like. And I am just even kind of like below, not necessarily like supernatural, but like they believed in putting so much value on the truth. They actually like worshiped the truth. Oh. And to the point where, like, if you're caught committing a lie, you're automatically murdered.
Oh shit!
They execute you for lying. Like, you could steal whatever.
Right now, you could cheat. We need it really right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, politicians. Yeah, talking about all the politicians dying, they would have died like that, But yeah, that's. I mean, it seems like a great way to start a society to me, Well,
that requires. What does that require? That requires people to take their time to do research well, to study, to talk to people, to project, to reflect, to consume. Like, I mean, this is, that's what scares me about this society, is that we actually have access. I can find anything I want.
Sure.
And I can order it, I can read it, I can listen to it. And now that also creates this conflict as well, right? This idea of opinion being becoming the way of communication. So like the way of getting your information.
It's like opinions becoming currency.
And have you heard Liza Featherstone?
No.
So we had an interview with her.
Okay.
Divine Desires. So she wrote a book on focus groups. And one thing that caught me especially, I always have these weird little things that just catch my attention. It was the fact that she describes exactly how the culture of opinion became more dominant than reality or facts. And that's obviously in the focus groups, because what you're trying to get people's opinion on a product, right? And then that turns into a bigger thing.
Yeah, and that's what I'm sure a big push for that culture of opinion probably started in the early 80s when the FCC took, because, before, like, news wasn't allowed to admit or have, like, a strong bias or something like that. I'm totally fucking up the details, but it's like, that's what, like, led to, like, Rush Limbaugh and stuff like that. That's why that stuff didn't really happen in the 70s and the 60s. It was early 80s because because I can never remember his name, but he was like the first guy, like even before Rush Limbaugh, and he was the guy, you might remember him. His career ended though because he faked getting beat up by white supremacists in the bathroom, in an airport bathroom. Does that sound familiar? Okay. Yeah, they made a doc.
Because I immigrated here in '97, so anything before that, unless I watched it on TV, it's
right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I only know about this guy because of a documentary.
Okay,
it's called it's called like The Matador or something like that. He was like a big talk show host. He was like one of the first. He was like the pioneer, and he famously was against anti-smoking stuff, and then typical Republican conservative hypocrite bullshit. Like of course, he gets lung cancer, he gets throat cancer or something like that, and he gets on the council to help stop smoking. It's like, no shit, dumbass.
Of course.
So, but yeah. But because they talk about it, like he was the first to really hop on to be like super opinionated, to really like push like a conservative bias in his like news outlet. Because it was early '80s when like it was like because you had to be more stringent on like your biases and stuff like that, right? And you know what I'm talking about. Yep. At least that FCC thing happened in the early '80s. Okay.
So here's the thing. So it's funny. I mean, I'm gonna unleash some things, but before we opened up this center, we were actually gonna do a media center in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And then I moved here, and we were here, and there's some things happened with the person that we were supposed to open up in Chicago, so we decided to stay here. Then saw this place. He was like, "Dude, you got to check this out." And we're like, "All right, we're opening this thing up." That was the idea. So before that, I did this extremely. If you want, I'll send it to you. It's about 45 pages, and it's an overview. It's me writing the overview of media and alternative media.
Okay.
Just like whole history, dude, from the start, from the first radio, from the first pirate radios off the coastline of United Kingdom. Dude, you just fucking... So here's the coolest thing, man. Before, I think I don't want to fuck it up right now, but... Before 60s or 70s, media was controlled by corporations. So like you had, let's say Seams fucking or GE fucking show presenting this.
Sure.
So there was no public. There was no public radio. There was a fight for it, for the air, for the space, but it only actually came to be alive in the late 60s and 70s.
Oh, sure. I was going to say that's how Ronnie Regs started his career, a GE spokesman. He was the commercial guy, yeah.
No, and that's what it comes down to. So if you actually look at the history of media, there's a short time when the public media actually comes to birth, and it gives that. And it's funny because the reality show stuff comes out of that, comes out of repression of free time and ability to have access to airtime. And so instead of doing like these things like large shows or whatever, they shifted to these reality shows because they had to be shorter. It had to be required less funding.
Oh, sure.
What, right? I mean, we're not going to the studio, my friend. Right. We're just following this asshole. We're telling him what to do, what to say.
MTV Real World, baby. MTV Real World.
And they're making it look like it's real.
Exactly. It's
illusion.
Yeah, hence one of the biggest ironic titles ever. Reality TV.
Yep.
So, yeah. And what was I going to mention? Yeah, because you have the Matador thing. Oh yeah. I was going to ask you, did you talk about alternative tentacles label in the alternative media whatever paper? It was the record label. I think it was like one of the first major like labels that wasn't a big studio or wasn't a big record label. Was the Jello Biafra's Alternative Tentacles?
Not for the music.
Okay,
so it was mainly concentrated on radio and broadcast.
Okay, sure.
So it was just going different. It goes into all kinds of different setups. It does go into, I can't remember the name of the radio show in England, in London. These cats, Black Cats, had this badass fucking show where they were playing a lot of reggae. They were just talking about all kinds of different shit. So no, it's interesting. Feminists and all kinds of stuff, man. Just these different. What was that called?
I was about to mention it.
The Bitch or whatever it was fucking called.
What was that movie, Pirate Radio or something like that?
Yep.
Did you talk about, the Philip Seymour Hoffman? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, awesome. So, no, it's interesting, man. And this is why, for me, epistemology, if people don't know, it's basically learning of how things become what they are.
Yeah. The little study of knowledge, basically.
Yeah,
right?
knowledge, how they're, it's, this is for me, it's,
oh, yeah.
I love it, man. I want to know. Like, that's why I love Lippmann, Walter Lippmann, if people don't know. one of the manufacturing consent, that's where it comes from. Walter Lippmann, that's his term. He's 1918, 1919. He's writing about shit that we're still trying to figure out.
Sure.
Then you talk about Bernays, like all these people. So for me, it's...
not Schopenhauer, but obviously Schopenhauer too. But no, the main guy, Werner, what's his name? Wittgenstein.
Yep. So the school, Frankfurt School, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of these cats from Frankfurt School, they hit a lot on. They talk about Hollywood and the impact of Hollywood and how it is. Like those things are, dude. Literally, if there was nothing going on, that's all I would do. I would just read all day and write and read all day and trying to connect things and trying to understand because, the more I read neuroscientists and neurologists and evolutionary biologists and evolutionary scientists.
A lot of Sam Harris? No, I'm kidding.
No. But I'm always kind of whatever with that kind of angle, but more of understanding that our brains are so complex and we know so little about it that any image, any sound, anything around us has a huge impact on who we are, how we are, what we do, what we say, and how things fucking happen.
Sure.
And, I've had a couple short glasses of wine. I usually don't drink. I only drink for this show just to relax. Just it's the only time I love alcohol, so it's the only time. It's the only time I allow myself because I'm extremely disciplined. I'm trying to be extremely disciplined on everything.
He's trying to build a confidence to hit on me later. Audience.
Correct. Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah. But yeah, man, it drives me, like it really, because it helps me to deal with things around me that are sometimes extremely hard to comprehend and interpret and deal with.
And that's a big problem with our brains and our perspective. Also, it's always a gamble. It's always a role to match our information to reality. Yep. Basically, right? Like our perspectives are constantly
exactly,
and that it's kind of amazing it works at all.
Exactly. It's not working that well.
Right. Well,
so
I said
the bottom of
all. It's amazing we don't trip and fall all the time.
No,
exactly. and to be fair to human, just for the fact that how complicated it is, like computers and how advanced computers are now, especially robotics, they can't, like, if you see them try to compete with humans for like stack cupping, like it can't. Yeah. Our reflexes, the amount of like how we process information and with our muscles especially, it is pretty astonishing. And like it's
we don't have a memory too. I think people don't really.
That was, damn it, you said you took my magic word from me. My magic word from me, because especially when it comes to epistemology. Sorry. I'm always fascinated with memory and how memory works. And like, if you have books on memory for me, and like,
I have an amazing article that has a lot of sources that will fucking tweak you up. Because please, fuck out of me. This is what this guy. Okay,
because they go into like there's many levels.
Let me do a short fucking introduction please. For this. Please. This is his whole underpinning message.
Sure.
If you look back at history, so before we had any knowledge and we had idea of God, right? What did we think that people were made out of? Clay, right? So we perceive that people are clay.
Some kind of earth, yeah.
Some clayish.
Right.
Then we have first aqueducts, right? And then from this kind of revolutionary invention, we're thinking that we are like aqueducts. So things just flow through us.
Sure. Sure.
So now this invention basically fucks us up for about 1,200 years.
Is this
because it prevents medical field from expanding, because what it's saying is that things flow through us. So if we're trying to cut things out or we're trying to do things, it fucks up the flow.
Sure.
So let me skip to certain things, but I think it jumps to the latest thing was automata.
Quick guess. Are you talking about Alan Watts by any chance?
Not yet.
Okay. Not yet. Okay, but I'm on to something, right?
So we're getting to automata, right?
Okay.
So we're having these mechanism tools, right? So we're thinking that our brain works like a clock. So we have these gears, and they keep turning, right?
Right.
You know,
right.
yeah, we know all about that.
Right. I get it. Yeah.
So I'm obviously not going through each step by step, but then he jumps back to telegraph. So now we're thinking that our brains are like
sending waves, signals.
Yeah.
Wow. This is probably the most like on the nose, like to almost I get it. It's like it's functioning analogy and metaphor like Joseph Campbell, right? We're getting some Joseph Campbell shit right now,
and then we get
way more hardcore.
Then we get to the computer.
Exactly.
And since we're able to store things on
hard
a computer,
drives, we're walking hall drives.
And we still basically, his point is that we still haven't broken out of the idea that our brains store memory, and we don't. And that's why our memories every second, every minute changes. And that's why we do not use personal what?
Let me know if you. I'm feeling a Hydro Lazer song title coming on called
baby.
We don't hard drive skulls.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. So we don't. So basically now we are not. We're thinking that we store memory. We don't understand. I mean, this is one of the reasons why we don't use the primary testimonies in court, right? Visual evidence.
Oh, yeah.
Because we know that as soon as you see it, second afterwards, you don't remember the way it was.
There's a crazy, probably the best story of talking about just how unreliable human testimony is Radiolab did a podcast. I think it's called like Westfield, because it was about this African shooting at an African mall. Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh yeah, they had the whole thing videotaped, right? Like, because there's this mall, there's security cameras everywhere, and they just have testimony after testimony. Especially this one woman who was pregnant, and she, like, you would have thought like, okay, she totally saw this. Like, she said she saw like some 14-year-old, green pants, red shirt. He was carrying on a machine gun, and just and he was shooting, and like. And then they give you all these testimonies, and then they go through the actual footage.
Oh, in Kenya. Was it in Kenya?
Yep.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about now?
I do. Yep.
Yeah. And it goes to this woman, and the whole thing of build up to them actually going to the footage, and they're just like, none of that was there.
Yep.
Like, all the shooters were in camouflage. They were all adults. Yep. Like, and she just completely made something up in her mind, man. It's fucking crazy.
Well, and so the interesting thing in the article, the whole point of the article, his point is that there's no way we're going to reach artificial intelligence. It just doesn't exist.
Okay.
There's no way to what he's saying is that what we think is going to be artificial intelligence is actually an algorithm or a program that programmed to do what we wanted to do. So it's not actually going to be thinking for itself, because we still don't know what the fuck thinking for yourself
means.
Is.
Sure. No, and then you're getting to why I can't stand I can't stand free will arguments.
Thank you.
Because there's no real definition for it.
Thank you. I have those arguments with my friends. My friend, actually, specifically with my friend back home, who thinks that it's like, well, I just like this thing. I'm like, no, you don't like this thing. This thing's been told to you. If you're in the class where you can afford this thing, you will like it. If you're in the class that you're below and you can't afford this thing, you're still going to like it, but you're not going to be having access to it. And maybe what you're going to try to do is do anything you can to have access to it. So the idea, my point was to him all the time. He's like, well, I like this. I like this fast cars, or I like this. My point is, you don't like it. My point just straight up, you don't like it. What you like is what they're telling you through marketing, through films, through messaging.
Although, see,
that's sexy. It's sexy. It's cool.
Well, here's the thing: is I think you kind of misunderstood me. But I get what you're saying. That doesn't necessarily make me an empirical
no, it doesn't.
No, empirical determinism. I'm just saying, like, you can't have that argument because there's no real axiom. There's no real definition for free will.
And I'm not saying that.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that I'm like, no, like, the reason why I like fucking Coca-Cola when I do maybe once every 2-3 weeks is because there's a fucking message telling me. Like, No, the reason why I don't eat McDonald's, but I really fucking like McDonald's, I always laugh and tell Vince. It's because when the Soviet Union collapsed and we went to see our family friend in Moscow, because that's the only place that they have McDonald's, I stood in line for fucking with my family for 2.5 fucking hours to eat a fucking cheeseburger and fucking fries that blew my fucking mind. No, and this is
the fries are good.
Do I really like it? No, I don't. If I am consciously and extremely rationally think about it, I do not want it. That's why maybe I'll eat it once a month. Maybe I'll eat it once every 2 years. But the point is the way it was propped up, the way it was presented. Like, we stood in line. People, listen. I hope everybody's listening. 2.5 fucking hours
for McDonald's?
No, not for McDonald's. For a cheeseburger and a fry from McDonald's, man. This is what I'm saying. Dude,
Dude, 20 minutes, I'm huffing and puffing.
We didn't have money for Big Mac. If I had money for Big Mac, motherfucker, that's my favorite fucking sandwich in there. But what I'm saying, and this is my whole point. My whole point is that if somebody's telling me The Patriot, as we talked about, the film is a good film, like, I'm gonna watch it and give it a try. You know what I'm saying? Like, if somebody tells me Patriot is a bad film, I'm probably gonna watch it and try. So what I'm saying is that there are those signals, there are those messages that pushes you, and it's up to you. And I think this is where our individual human, I guess, individualism comes in. It's, you have to try things before you can. This is just my personal. I'm not saying it for everyone. I have to try things to know whether I like them or not. I did drugs because I wanted to know I like them or I don't. I had sex, all kinds of sex, because I wanted to know. Do I like cock? Do I like balls? Do I like pussy? Do I like tits? Like, what do I like? Do I like all of them mixed together? Do you know? Like, you cannot. Here's the thing: you cannot know that you like something, right? Until you really try it. Because if somebody tells me on TV Coca-Cola is badass, but I try it and I don't like it, what does that mean?
You can. Well, for sort of a counter, but I have a better counter to what you were talking about before, but sort of a counter to what you're talking about, though, without trying. Like, you could like somebody without actually meeting them, in the ways of, like, if you just communicate purely over text.
Yeah, but what is that? What is that liking? What does that mean? So
you can see your personality through text. You know, that's why.
I don't think so. I can tell. Hey,
don't you have favorite authors? Can't you tell what an author is by his writing style?
No, man. It's just like the movie makers. I mean, I can see. So, for example, I like, let's say, Mel Gibson. Let's use him again. I like his fucking films. Would I want to hang out with him and be his friend? Fuck no, because he's a fucking wacko.
I hear he's a charming guy, honestly.
Man, here's a story. I mean, we go deeper, a little bit sexy. So Vince had he was seeing this girl when I lived with him in Burns Harbor in 2009.
Who? Because it still sounds like you're still talking about Mel Gibson. Who?
No. So Vince was dating this girl.
Okay.
And she had a friend who had this weird obsession with Eastern Europeans. Weird for me, anyways.
Good for you. Yeah. I'll capitalize.
Like everybody. I don't give a fuck. You're white,
you can
black,
fetishize me as much as you want, right?
Yeah, you don't give a fuck. She comes in. You know, they come over. Like, it's planned. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we hook up, all that shit. We sit outside. She starts running her mouth about poor people. She starts running about people who are unemployed, people lazy.
Can't do it.
I go inside. I grab a bottle of Jack Daniels. I'm like, okay, if I can do this, I can do this drunk. Pretty, extremely pretty. Fucking, you know, typical like that blonde, blue eyes, fucking well shaped, but like
imagine that she's poor people.
No facial features, you know, like everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like something you see and you're like, all right, I want to be part of it. I'm trying to be more politically correct here. Dude, I'm being serious. After 5 hours, I was drinking. The conversations kept getting sour. We came inside. She obviously was staying over. There were 2 couches in the living room. She laid down on the big couch. I laid on the small couch. She looked at me. She was like, are you coming to join me? I told her, I'm not. You're drunk. I'm a little bit drunk. I'll explain it to you tomorrow morning. No, it was just, we literally slept fucking like 4 feet away from each other.
Nice,
she was on one couch, I was on the other.
Yeah,
Next
that
morning,
pussy aching, just needing that European cock, and you're just not giving it to her.
No, that morning I woke up. I was like, hey, what do you eat? She was like, I'm like, do you eat eggs? Do you eat bacon? Do you eat this stuff? She's like, yes. I made her breakfast. I sat down with her and I was like, hey, don't take what happened last night as this, I don't like you or you're unattractive, because that's just the way it is. I explained to her, I was like, hey, the way you perceive the world and the way you were talking about people, I was probably more, probably a little bit more open and harsh than I am right now. That was 2010 or 11. But no, I just explained to her. I'm like, this
you're
is
beautiful
why
on the outside. Goddamn, you're ugly on the inside.
Exactly. I did not want to have sex with you because as soon as you start talking, your words and your language turn you, like I start perceiving you the way you are and not the way your physical attributes are.
Sure.
And
is that kind of proving my point, though? Is that what I'm talking about? Like, the way she presented herself through communication was awful.
Correct. Well, and that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying, if something appears to be delicious or perfect or whatever, sweet, it doesn't mean that it's going to be sweet or you're going to like it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, but however, odds are if you like somebody online, like communicating them, you should unless they have like some sort of hard time communicating in person. But if you can enjoy somebody's personality online, chances are you're going to enjoy them in real life too. You see what I'm saying? Because you're going, there's no surface thing, there's no physical thing to attract you.
I hope so, because I hope so, because there's also, I read this other really interesting research done, and the person who made, actually that was from the guy who created Seen or Not Seen in Your Messages or Text Messages. And so he's explaining the thing behind it and talking about the side effects of it. One, you send a message, right? If I see it, you expect a response right away from me, right? If there's no response, you're starting to question yourself.
Sure.
One, why isn't that person responding? Did I say something wrong? Is that person doesn't like? Creates a fucking total shit that's not happening. I might have been like, Bret sent me a message. Hey, did you get your place put back together? And I go, maybe I'm working on something right now. I'm going to respond to you later. I don't want to write just a short line and say, yeah, man, I put everything back together. I want to talk to you. I want to be like, hey, man, I painted this room. I painted this. I changed this. That's the thing. Right away, people start freaking out. So from going sort of off that, what that study showed is that people, instead of stopping and thinking what to say, they just say to say because they don't want that person to get mad at them,
of course,
or feel something about them, which right away fucking fucks up our communication, right?
Sure. Always good
and
to be
this
honest.
is and he was like, yeah, like this whole just like the like button. Well, what if I only get 5 likes? And yesterday I got 20. It fucks you up, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is the whole thing. So for me,
because it's especially bad. It's especially poisonous because it's like perception on top of perception on top of perception,
without real solid evidence of what's going on. Like you know what I'm saying? Like maybe my girlfriend's mom or grandmother is sick or dying. Do you know what I'm saying? Like she hasn't answered me. Now I'm thinking that she's fucking cheating on me or she hates me. You know, and that's now, of course, answering short is okay, but
well, although it's definitely hard. It's hard to talk through text.
Exactly.
It's hard to talk through text because it's got me in trouble a few times because there's no tone, there's no inflection.
There we go. Yep. No emotions. You can see. Like I'm seeing you right now. It's awesome talk.
Yeah, of course. Oh yeah. Nothing tops personal to personal, but I'm just saying. But anyway, well, to get back to where you're talking about like marketing and stuff like that. Obviously, there's always a thing. There's always a matter of do I really actually like this or not, or do I blah 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 blah. However, you're right. And by all means, marketing can become a ridiculously heavy influence, but it's not a perfect deduction because of the fact that marketing campaigns fail.
Yep.
Like you'll have the same marketing campaign for 2 different ones, and obviously one, so there's obviously more going on than just the marketing and being told what you like.
Yep. Just like propaganda.
Sure. Yeah. Sometimes propaganda doesn't work though.
Well, some will argue that propaganda is actually something that people seek, and it's not being shown to them.
Well, is that even an argument? Isn't that like just true? Isn't that what our modern news culture is? They want just something to validate them.
No, but it's like cancel culture, right?
Sure.
So we were talking about earlier, we were talking about like it's okay to want this motherfucker to die.
Sure.
Right? Now, most people are not going to say it, right? Why aren't they going to say it? They're afraid that there's something might fucking in the way, like cancel them. And if you look at the numbers, I was talking to Vince today, and I was like, if you look at the numbers, the higher in education, so master degree students, PhD students, and professionals are 80 to 90% less likely to voice their opinion.
Right.
And so basically us sitting here and saying like, no, fuck this guy. We need this guy to fucking die.
Just kind of like how the really tough fighters are really bad motherfuckers out there. They'll fuck anybody. They're not going to talk about how tough they are.
Yep. No, exactly. And then you'll see some of these videos. You have these UFC fighters that go out and they got knocked out by fucking one punch by some guy in the bar because they were talking shit.
I was the upper.
Yep. And that's once again, like know your enemy, but don't.
And don't show your whole hand.
Sun Tzu, right? Sun Tzu says, when you fight one person, imagine you're fighting an army. When you're fighting an army, imagine that you're fighting one person.
Heyo. Can't fuck wrong with Sun.
Boom, boom. And it's true, man, because when you fucking think that somebody's weaker than you are, you become relaxed and you lose.
Right.
No, I'm not. This is more of like a physical contact kind of thing.
Once again, it all goes to perception. Perception's
Exactly.
like, my friend hated me for saying it, but I think it's at least a big chunk of because obviously it's kind of hard to define philosophy, but I think philosophy is, when it comes down to it, or at least a good part of it, is
love and knowledge.
Well, love and knowledge, right? But you're also studying perception, and you're studying all these different perceptions, which is which you could pretty much put anything under the definition of the perception, especially when it comes to humans. There's a historical perception, there's the physics perception, like scientific physics perception. I think people don't take into perspective how big that word is.
No, it is. And listen,
Kind of the biggest.
If you haven't read Gabor Mate before or listened to his shit, or if anyone who's listening never read or listened to him, he's one of the most incredible fucking addiction specialists, doctors, neuroscientists, researchers, and development cat. Sure. And one of his most important things that he mentions is that infants, when they're born, when a mother is holding them, children can actually see and feel through the pupils of their mother stress levels.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about perception. And so now imagine you're fucking brand new mother, or what's the right term for it?
Brand new mother's fine.
Brand new mother. Yeah, I don't want to, brand new mother, and you're stressed for the first year and a half. And his point is that first 3 years, our development, we develop our nervous system. And how's our nervous system developed? Through touch.
Oh, yeah.
Feeling, right? Feeling comfortable.
That's why babies want to put everything in their mouth.
Yeah, that's right. And we are the only mammal on this fucking planet that when we come out of our mothers, we're not able to walk.
Nope.
We're not able to talk.
Nope.
We're not able to do shit.
Helpless. Yep.
Shit. And that's his whole point. His whole point is we are so fucking intricate and so fucking complex. He basically says, if you fuck up during the first 3 years of child development, you're going to be, his term is reparenting for the rest of your fucking life.
Oh, shit.
And reading that, man, I blew my fucking mind because then I start thinking about myself, start thinking about the friends I lost, start thinking about all these things and how, holy shit, like...
More importantly, people you know.
No, exactly. And holy shit, like we are so intricate that one mistake, one fuck up can derail the whole fucking development of a human being. And this is where when, I have a vasectomy, never going to have kids.
Right. Was that part of the influence that made you make that decision?
No.
Oh, you read that? Okay.
No, mainly is irrational, environmental, global, everything.
I can agree with you more.
All those things. All those things. And to be honest with you, one of the biggest things is that what I want to do, unless I have millions of dollars, I cannot do it. I'm saying, like doing activism, organizing, this media stuff. Like I want to be around the place. I want to be around by people. I want to be surrounded by people. I want to do all these things. So like it's really hard to do when you have a family. Of course. And so now understanding, and going back to your point, understanding the complexity and the importance of specific upbringing during specific developmental stages, I just would not be able to do it. And I'm a fucking veteran and I have PTSD. So things I can get irritated real quick. Am I violent? No, of course not. Can I be violent if I'm defense mode? Yes, and it scares me. Now, the point here is that, little things might piss me off and make me anxious, and that's what kids are. It takes discipline. Right.
I mean, but that's the thing. What it goes down to perception is you that kid, it wasn't like a kid would have any chance of being hurt by you, but he could have that perception because you can't control your initial reaction.
Exactly. He would feel that.
Right. Exactly.
They would be like, oh, he's not saying anything. So, I mean, it comes from Psychology 101. It basically, hey, you don't want to be violent, but you also don't want to be neutral and have no feelings, because then you have fucking people who grow up, kids that don't know how to express themselves.
And especially like, I mean, forget about it. Like we can't, I mean, forget with humans interacting and stuff like that. Forget like words influencing us just from physical behaviors and how little we know about. Because there's obviously some sort of physical wave, some sort of physical thing that comes just from pure emotion. Like we can actually read people's, like how, we've all felt it when you go into a room and you can feel tension. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Tension, right? That's the word I'm looking for. The fact that we can feel tension, we have no idea how either, by the way. There's some sort of chemical thing, but with my dog, especially, like he's such a chill. I mean, he's that jam band hippie dog. And if I get frustrated at all, he immediately can sense a raise in my emotion. Be
a good service dog.
Yeah. He's wonderful. I need to train him more. And but no. He like, or if people just start laughing too much and he gets too loud, he just like starts barking. Like, everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. Like very sensitive dog. Yep. So it's so, like I said, just that alone, which clearly has a huge influence on us, and we have little to no knowledge about it, should give you an idea of just how. It's fucking crazy, man. I was going to say, but like speaking of marketing, like I actually had this argument with a friend where he was just trying to pinpoint all of Harry Potter on like all its thing on marketing, and I fucking hate Harry Potter, by the way.
Never seen it, never read it.
I've seen like the first 2 movies, and I'm like, I'm done. And but with that said, you have to give props when there's props, because it's by far like, Lord of the Rings, I think, is the second, biggest selling fantasy thing. And that came out in the fucking 50s, like Hobbit was like 1953 or something.
Oh, I had no idea. I thought it was like a...
Oh, no, those books are fucking old, man.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they're old. The guy invented languages and everything for it.
I always fall asleep. I don't think I watched the whole film.
They're an acquired
They're good. I like it, though. I like it, but I can't get through it.
Right. You could admire the production of it all and the scope.
It's fucking beautiful.
But at the end of the day, though, you still got to have interesting characters and stories. But regardless, I do like Lord of the Rings for the most part. But I definitely like Lord of the Rings better than Harry Potter. But anyway, with that said, and like I think, keep in mind, Lord of the Rings has been around forever. It's still like 500 million copies overall for decades upon decades. Correct. Dude. Yep. Harry Potter alone, just on book sales, has sold over 1 billion books. Wow! Think about that. Like that's not, you know what I'm saying? That's not just marketing, because it's not like it has way more marketing than Lord of the fucking Rings. No. Like there's only so much marketing you can do, right?
Depends on horizontal and vertical integration. So it depends. People who are publishing, what do they own? Like how do they transfer things? Is it like this, like Disneyland? The movies that they come up, they have like the whole line of toys. They have a whole line of things. They produce it themselves. They manufacture it themselves. They distribute it themselves, and like they market it themselves.
Right. Well, I mean, with both those franchises, I mean, they're the biggest ever. So I'm guessing they have every avenue covered when it comes to marketing. Every avenue covered, and he's like, well, no, because they push it into schools, right? And it's like this propaganda. First off, that doesn't. I mean, when Harry Potter came out, before they even put it in schools, it's still fucking, shot up through adult sales too. Like plenty of adults are buying it too. And I tried to tell him, like, dude, The Hobbit's been in children's libraries forever. Ever. And it's just like not a lot of kids picked up on it, but for some reason, Harry Potter just clicks in people.
What's the story behind? Like, what's the main plot? Is there like a one theme, or obviously there are themes within themes. But
it's typical. It's typical hero's journey, like just
hero's journey.
Yeah. It's just it's about Harry Potter. It's about this fucking guy. He's destined. He's got a mark on him.
Similar to what I keep bringing up to Vince all the time, because I've been really interested about Hollywood, and it really the contradictions, especially. The Marvel films. Sure. Marvel films are the top 10, 9 or top 10 ever profit made from the films. The first top 9 or 10 films are all Marvel films made in the last fucking decade.
Sure, absolutely. Not even close. Not even close.
First, and that's the thing, because and it just fucking blows my mind, because I have to watch them. I haven't watched them. I watched some on Netflix when they have those top 10. So I'll watch top 1, 2, 3 just to see, like, why is it top? Why the fuck is this top?
So big,
well, I just watched something that's incredible, and it's fucking not even top fucking 50.
Sure, of course.
Same thing, right? Because it's like you have this hero, but yet we live in a culture that's not showing those heroic attributes. So how this is like I'm not asking for a quote for not answer, because we can't answer this. I mean, I maybe in some way, but how are the top 10 like hero kind of things? Like, you're an individual, part of the people, maybe like you have this Civil War or whatever they call it. And you have this bravery of standing up to these injustices. And yet, I mean, perfect example, like, it's always been historically, and something I always keep trying to keep aware of, is that civil rights movement, tiny comparing to the population.
Sure.
All these movements were tiny comparing to the population.
Sure.
I mean, even George Floyd, his tiny comparing to 350 million people that are in this country. Sure. And so you have these top 10 films who show this bravery, this standing up to injustice. And I know that I think a lot of it, I haven't watched it, but I'm assuming a lot of it against the institutions and the government. Or these oppressive, or like these evil people who are these usually from the Middle East.
Unfortunately not. It's usually just supervillains in the.
Is it? Yeah. So depends also where those supervillains come from, what they
mostly
represent.
outer space.
Yeah. So.
But actually, to be fair though, the only one that's kind of subversive in that way is the Captain America movies, like Winter Soldier, because it actually gets into the whole thing of like Hydra, which is like Marvel Nazis, basically, right? They were actually, I think Hydra actually started off as a special unit from Nazis or something like that. Huh. Anyway, but basically Hydra means Nazi. And they actually throw in this theory that Hydra was after World War II, Hydra was inside, was actually doing a shadow government underneath the American government the whole time. Huh. And so I'll give them that. That was pretty crazy. That was pretty bold.
You know, we were called Winter Soldiers too when we testified to Congress.
Right. Because you heard that term either. I mean, because I'm a dumb person.
The Thomas Paine.
Right.
His thing was the summer soldier will always be there in the times of good. But the winter soldier will always, I'm really butchering it up.
But no, I get your idea.
But the winter soldier will always stand there when the summer soldier is away.
Right.
And that was like that's why we called our testimonies to the Congress winter soldier testimonies, because for sure, I mean, we're a few. I mean, people that we served with were threatening our lives and saying all kinds of shit to us, which didn't matter.
Sure. Still awful.
I gave them my address.
Come get me anytime.
They knew. They're like, Corrigan. Yeah, we're that. I had a nickname in the military. I'm sorry, I'm gonna reveal it right now. I'm not happy with it. I'm not proud of it, but it was Killer Corrigan.
Oh shit.
Never fought anyone. I actually never had a fight with anyone that I served with. I did slap them, though, and then that was my signature thing. I wouldn't fight them. I would just slap people if they were fucking up.
Like Boss Rutan in.
So, and that was, I mean, for people, and it was actually real interesting. Yeah, it was a contradiction because, yeah, I mean, people couldn't even imagine that I would testify and do the work that I did, but nonetheless. So going to that,
I imagine you were a good soldier, so they didn't expect it.
I wasn't a good soldier. No, I don't know who said that. But that's the thing. I was never a good soldier. So I mean, I had page 11s, which is like I don't know, like a maybe. Not a felony, it would be, what's below felony? Misdemeanor.
Misdemeanor, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So I had misdemeanors. They didn't want to give me a higher rank because they knew if I had a higher rank, I would run my mouth even louder, which I did when they did give it to me. I got really fucking, just protecting the guys I served with.
Sure,
that was my main thing. But for them, it was radical. And obviously running my mouth against the people in charge. So Vince as well, obviously. But sure. No, yeah, and so so that's an interesting thing. Even that Winter Soldier, right? So we're talking about this Winter Soldier thing. So it's like the interpretation of Thomas Paine. If no one knows, he actually died poor in a little shack, sick as fuck. Oh yeah,
I didn't know because I knew he ran because he ran like a mannequin, but because he ran a mannequin factory or something like that, right? Yeah. For
some time, he basically eventually with his writings, he ended up dying extremely poor and sick.
Sure, just like Tesla.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, he had some
problems, but
had some fascist tendencies, superhuman tendencies as well.
Tesla?
Yeah. But that's you go from history, philosophy. You talking about Kant. You are talking about Nietzsche. I mean, and that's
Ubermensch.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though, right? I mean,
and that's what, and it's funny that it actually comes right around to the superheroes because they're just basically they let out your fascist tendencies.
Oh boy, fuck, man, I wasn't even. God damn it, thank you, because I wasn't even thinking.
Well, I mean that's what Watchmen's about. The comic book.
I wasn't even fucking. Now, thank you. Now I have something to write about that I'm thinking about.
No, just Alan Moore's wrote plenty about superheroes and fascist tendencies. I mean, especially Batman. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, he's the original.
And a rich fuck, too. He's a fucking elite.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
He's fighting the poor.
Absolutely.
That's... I never liked them. I always tell people, here's my joke. When I see people wearing Batman shit or talk about Batman shit, I come up to them and I ask them, what is your class politics? Your class politics fucked up. And they make faces, but we have good conversations out of that.
Yeah, could you imagine how many people he could help instead of just fighting fucking criminals, like laying criminals? With all that fucking bat technology.
Creating criminals through his neoliberal and capitalist ideas.
Sure.
Right? Military industrial complex, corporations, probably doesn't pay any taxes.
Mm-hmm. No, that's... Well, how he's fucking supposed to get a Batmobile if you got to pay taxes? Come on, Sergio. So anyway,
Gates did it,
right? But no, that's what I was gonna say. Marvel movies are another aspect of just it's more than just marketing because I mean X-Men was already really huge back in the early 2000s. I mean it wasn't like they failed; they did really well, but they never reached the level of fucking Marvel superheroes. No, not even close. And they are Marvel superheroes. Think about that. But something about Marvel Studios, whose first few movies didn't really it all came to fruition with Iron Man for some reason. I think a big part of it was Japan and China loved Iron Man so much because they loved the mech stuff.
Let me ask you this though, because I don't. Who are the villains in the first, and where are they from, and who are they?
Okay, well, the main overall villain I think you know is Thanos, right?
I don't know who.
Thanos is the guy with the gauntlet. He's got stones on it. You might see that. I'm sure he's
from the Middle, because I remember watching one of them, and there was a guy from the Middle East.
Which is funny because I think he turned out like a fake villain. Are you talking about the Mandarin or whatever his fucking name was?
Is that what it was? Because I'm wondering, because I
think that's the only one I can think of from the Middle East.
But most of them are from the other planets.
Yes, most of that because. Well, oddly enough, like the main guy in like the first Avengers movie, oddly enough, is actually a character you would know because he's based on Norse mythology. Oh, Loki. Like Loki's literally the villain and it's the Loki, like brother of Thor.
Correct.
Okay, it's that guy, and he's the villain in the first one, but he works with this dude named Thanos. I can't believe I'm explaining this. This is weird because it's like the biggest thing ever. But no, I understand. But he works with Thanos. But all these things, as the movies show, they're like all under this big plot of Thanos, who he's the big purple guy. He's played by Josh Brolin, and he's like the main thing. And his thing is this power. His main agenda, which is pretty weird, and it's actually kind of different from the comic, is he's trying to. Well, he thinks the problem with the universe is like there's too many populations on all these planets, and he's trying to wipe them all out.
So let me
like half of them out.
So let me ask you this: why? So okay, maybe I'm overthinking that, and sometimes I do overthink things.
Sure.
Now, what is the underlying message of somebody from the other planet, and what do they mean by the other planet? Because, okay, we don't know. I mean, the assumption that we can be special, that we're the only fucking planet in this universe that's so fucking big we can't even imagine.
Yeah.
That we're the only living species. That's just out of the question. We know there's different varieties of different species. But for this, do you know what I'm saying? Like, what
the only thing
what generates this? Like, I've never. It's like it's blowing my mind because
how big it is.
How big it is, but the fact that it's the primary source of this negativity or violence or oppression comes from outside of this planet.
So.
Overthinking it, huh?
No, I mean, because there's plenty of bad guys that come around on Earth too.
Okay.
I mean, there's like, well, and they do have the Civil War, which is the thing you probably don't have to overthink. It's actually kind of a good conflict. Correct. It's one of the few conflicts they have in it. I don't know if you know what the Marvel Civil War is, but that was based on the comic. So the idea is like the U.S. government says we should have a superhero registry, and so there's no longer vigilantes, and everybody has to expose what their until no longer secret identities. And this makes the conflict between Iron Man and Captain America, because Iron Man's a rich billionaire. He doesn't give a shit. Everybody knows who he is anyway. And Captain America, as I guess, like, you know, he's like, that's against American ideals.
Well, what's his concern? What's Captain America's concern? And this is an interesting, because now we're going into what's going on with Trump, right? This whole mystery, this whole mythology behind him being sick.
Well, the idea of like,
so why is Captain America, knowing that he's a good force, right?
Right. Why is he
doesn't want to? He wants to be concealed and sort of hidden, right? He doesn't want to be exposed to the people.
Right. So, well, it actually fits with America in the ways of like, because obviously America's all about limiting government. That's from our main thing.
Okay. So I like that. I like where it's going.
Right. Right. So the idea of like, not just it's more dangerous for these superheroes to reveal their identities, but also it would also empower the government more, because then they could get all the superheroes under their control.
So this is, I'm going to fucking throw it all the way to the left or right or fucking up and down. But this is what popped in my head. Isn't that kind of relates to the story of Manning and Snowden?
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Right? Because it's like because it's the weird. Because I watched this Netflix. It was #1. It was what was that movie with Reynolds?
Deadpool. No.
7 something.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's like 7 seconds or something like that. 7. Yeah, it was just like a normal kind of spy movie.
6 Underground. 6 Underground. And this is like, I walk up to, because here's the thing. We have so much shit going on all the time. I turn films or movies before I go to sleep. So I lay down, I turn them on my laptop, I'll watch them, and then I pass out. So I usually like, sometimes it may take me like 2 weeks to watch one film. As I do like 10 minutes, I pass out. 6 Underground. And I remember turning it on. And I remember the first fucking 2 minutes of the dialogue, it basically goes how we cannot trust the government. This fucking billionaire guy talking about it, you know?
But yeah, to get into why I think to go crudely, I think the Avengers movies do so well or whatever, because they're obviously they get really good production.
Correct.
And
effects.
And it's super colorful.
Correct.
People like that. And you know, and because there's superpowers, it gives you a different kind of, and plus I think people really like strung onto them making this massive universe, the cinematic universe, which is funny because, like I said, it takes more than marketing, because obviously then DC tried to do the same thing with Batman and all that and failed miserably.
Correct.
At least in comparison to, you know, they don't, the top 10 movies are Marvel, not fucking DC. It's just, here's another little philosophy if you want, like, and this is, you're going to love the irony in this, especially from Captain America. He's in the fucking Captain America outfit, right? Red, white, and blue stars. He actually has a line in one of the movies. He's just like, well, you know, sir, the reason why I fight, like, or, you know, I think America, we're here. He's like, I always hated bullies growing up, because the idea of, like, you know, he was Steve Rogers. He was a guy skinnier than me. He was just like little weakling, gave him the formula. He became super strong and badass, right? And he's like, you know, I always hated bullies growing up and I had to deal with them. And I think America should be the ones to stop the bullies.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
dude, that's
well, irony there, huh?
No, that's a lot, man. That's a lot to even. I mean,
I think that yeah, but I think for like the character of Captain America, you know, they're trying to sum up his mentality, and I think that's a pretty good way to do it. It's just unfortunate. Sadly, it's just not like I wish he was just Captain Uruguay instead or something like that, because America's been economically.
And his background is just a regular World War II soldier, right?
Right.
Where he gets
well, the thing was,
shot and they test him.
Well, the thing was, he
gets shot.
He wanted to be a soldier, but he was such a weakling, he couldn't get drafted.
Oh shit!
I actually have a friend like that. But
fuck.
I actually have a friend like that because there's actually people don't realize there's actually a weight minimum too. So 105 pounds. My poor little friend.
Can I tell you something?
He was 103 pounds, and they had to like film with hamburgers to weigh him in so he can make.
Can I tell you something?
Go for it.
You know what's the biggest story I always hear at the bar when I have a conversation and somebody finds out I was military? It's that, man, I trying to get in, but they didn't take me.
And you're like, yeah, right, buddy. They'll take anybody.
I don't know. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I actually have a story.
I don't know.
And I can show you the records. I'm not bullshitting.
I know you. Come on. What I hear, what I just.
But no. And keep in mind, this is more believable because this was in 2000 before 9/11, and there obviously wasn't that. You know, they weren't looking for a big giant. You know, recruit. And but no, so it's pretty crazy actually because I was just going to go in the reserves. You know, and just kind of you know what? Yeah. I think Army, yeah. And I was just going to go in the reserves, and I just dropped out of... No, because I was in high school. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know sure if I was going to go to... so this actually might have been early 2001. I might have just barely missed it. But however, they rejected me because I went through I took the ASVAB and all that shit, you know, and even went to the thing. Like, I got really close, but they rejected me when I took the hearing test. And because I was actually born without a right eardrum.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, and I mean, I can kind of
a good thing.
Yeah. Oh no. My bad hearing saved my life, basically, or could have. You know.
Yeah, you get killed.
Yeah. I mean, I can. It's like at 50%, but apparently it's not enough.
Oh shit!
Because I got ear surgery.
So how does the playing music does that affect your hearing? Because I know a lot of cats who especially play heavy stuff.
Oh yeah, no. I'm sure I've like. I'm sure my hearing could have been a lot better. I'm sure I've ruined my hearing a lot. Like it sucks. Like if I'm in the shower, you know, you hear the water, right? Yeah. If I plug my left ear, which is better than my right ear, if I plug my left ear, I can't hear anything.
Oh shit!
That's how like it's pretty much all the. I'm pretty sure all the treble has gone out of my right ear. Like it's just as low. Yeah. So, but hey, I'll take that over, you know, having to do a tour or whatever in the military.
No, for sure.
And that's why, like, it came me thinking because, you know, you always hear about the stories of like people shooting their foot or whatever to get out of the military or whatever. And I would just be like, dude, just fake the hearing test, you know? So like, I can't hear shit. That might be a way out of it. I wonder if you could do it that way.
But it's not, I mean, nowadays you don't have a draft. So there's no forcing. It's mainly.
But I'm saying back then. But who knows? We'll probably eventually have a draft.
Ooh, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, there's a reason why they got rid of it.
Check this out. What if we have a fucking police draft? I wonder if that's possible. I hope I didn't give anybody some scary ideas.
No, but the closest thing that I can get to it. Is after uprisings.
Because the police recruitments can't be off the charts now.
After the uprisings in Ukraine in 2014 called Maidan, one of the reforms was they did it upside down, but they fired all the regular police officers and then they had a recruitment. They actually had, I wouldn't say it wasn't forced, but it was basically open for people who were never in to join and be trained. So it wasn't a draft. However, in a way, you can say that it was a draft.
I see.
So I can, and to be honest with you, 50-50. The fuck up thing is that they kept people in charge who were still in charge, and that's where the corruption happens. The second thing is that they had a bunch of young people, both men and women, who signed up, and they actually had this more of ideological, like we have to be different. Like, we can't be the way this corruption was before.
Sure.
And, we have to change it. Now, a lot of things change from up and down. But nonetheless, yeah, that's basically actually, to be honest with you, with the U.S. that's basically the closest thing you can probably try to get to when you talk about, because you can't get rid of the police, and that's just the reality.
Hard, yeah.
Whether people like it or not,
You can defund the fuck out of them. Though.
Yeah, you can, but unless you have enough money to fund specific institutions, so
Sure.
And perfect example, once again, going back to the Soviet Union. Obviously that's where I grew up, and until I was 13, we had 4 different numbers. So if you needed firefighters, you dialed 01. If you needed police, you dialed 02. If you needed ambulance, you dialed 03. If you needed help with gas leaks, you dialed 04. And it went on and it went on. Whoa. So the point is, if I fucking need healthcare issue, I am dialing 03. I'm not dialing 02 where the fucking police is at.
Exactly.
So dialing 911, which is an only fucking category that you can dial, will eventually lead to police. Well, obviously, the funding and all that shit, the funding of health institutions, healthcare institution, education, blah, blah, blah. We can go on. Everybody, I mean, hopefully everybody's somewhat aware of it. No, that's what happens. I mean, you dial 911, it's fucking police.
Sure.
Like, I mean, they're not saying, "Hi, this is firefighters department." Like, this is like 911. How can I help you? Oh, my child is freaking out. Oh, okay, yeah, we're fucking sending the police when they need to send psychologists.
Sure.
Or social
domestic
worker,
yeah, social worker, right?
Fuck.
Or even, I mean, to really put a fine point on it, I mean, just like how most like cities now, especially, like they lost funding for animal control, and police have to do fucking animal control. Yeah. You're telling me that's not a guy to waste the time on there?
Yep.
I mean, even on,
And you see those videos, they're like, "Oh, they came and shot my dog." Well, yeah, motherfucker, like the reason why they shot your dog is that your taxes, or the money that the city or the county or the state is getting, or is going either towards the military, towards bullshit, or fucking shit that you don't need.
Or I love talking about this because the number one argument is like, oh, government bureaucracies. It's like, first off, that's all human. Any kind of human organization is going to have some sort of bureaucracy, right?
Yep.
And guess what the fucking banking industry is? It's a gigantic, growing, nonstop. Like, that's why our economies are so complicated, because they first make it complicated. Yes.
It wasn't before, though, right? Before, this is how the bank worked. If there was $1 deposit, they were only able to lend $2. That's how it was.
Right.
So whatever they got in, that's what the double is what they could lend out. And
now speculation on speculation.
Correct. And, obviously, and that's the thing, man. Okay, so even with anarchists, this is the problem I have with anarchists.
Well, before we get off the rail, can I mention the reason why I brought up banks too was actually it wasn't like a random because it segued from what we were talking about in the ways of like how much municipal spending how much municipal waste there is because people. My one friend explained this to me one time. It never came to me. Was like a lot of what cities pay for and all that shit is all different kinds of banking fees and loans, and how much tax dollars is wasted on banking for your cities, as opposed to just having like a national bank or a state bank that will just, that's not trying to make a profit. It just makes that shit work.
Well, look at the credit unions.
Oh, yeah.
Like local credit unions. Yeah, they'll give you, they'll give you, what I'm saying? They'll give you good loans. They'll give you good rates, like all that shit, because they don't work off that, this whole.
Right.
I mean, they do, but they don't.
Right.
But
it's not, yes, and then and then of course I think we're the only country or one of the few countries that have the fucking payday loans and all that shit.
Oh, I
it's
do
like
that.
Which is like 10 times more than like fucking loan shark interest.
Dude, I would fucking
Talk about people who need to die, huh?
I would fucking send them to fucking labor camps, all of them. I mean, and it's ridiculous. But that goes back to your point about banking, because regular people, if they have bad credit history or they have some kind of fucking shit, they can't even get a bank account where they can go and deposit their check. And that's why people use these, or they just don't have banks in their communities or whatever. Fuck.
Oh, I forgot my joke all the way back to the beginning of the last episode we just did, where just to bring up the horrendous, because I'm a sucker for punishment, to bring up the horrendous debates again. I just want to say, like, that's going to be our labor torture. That's going to be our torture in the labor camps. Like they need to send that. Yeah, just make people watch it in Guantanamo Bay and shit.
Don't do it. Don't do it. You will not do it.
Right. They're just like, just make them stop. I can't understand anything. Nothing makes sense.
Fucking Christ.
Oh, that debate, man. I loved every minute of it. But even now, I'm acting like tween. I'm acting like King Detachment. Like I got all this ironic joy out of it. Even I'll admit, though, near the end of that debate, I was feeling it like, this is so bad.
We didn't publish that episode, but.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah, that was basically my foretelling of it. I mean, it was just, Trump is like too easy to predict, I guess.
Sure.
And I was like, yeah, this guy's going to do everything he can to piss off him, to make him stumble, to make him have his speech impediment fucking kick in full force.
Here's the thing with Trump, though. He's easily to predict how or what he's going to do, but it's hard to predict how much and how far he will go. That's why, because he can still shock you, regardless of...
Because you're thinking like, all right, maybe this time he's actually going to take it the opposite and kind of shock everyone, like this whole shot effect. But he's not.
But we got to give him, which is why I'm still stuck. But which is why I'm still stuck in this, like, be careful what you wish for kind of thing if we get Biden in there instead of Trump. Because you got to give it to Trump, though. He backed the fuck off of most wars. Or at least, I should say new war engagements. Like, especially with John Bolton there, the fact that John Bolton went in there and didn't get anything done, that should have been like the fucking, No,
he's done good with North Korea in the way. He's done good with
Venezuela and like.
Well, not Venezuela. He's trying to invade it.
They were going to invade
Afghanistan.
Yeah.
He's trying to pull the troops out, Iraq as well. But that's the thing, man. But comparing to his environmental policies.
Oh, sure.
And comparing to the dog whistling that he's doing with the white supremacy. Like, no, it's, of course,
but to me, environmental is almost moot because as he will take it as worse as he can. It's not like Biden's going to have any sort of aggressive environmental policy, which we need.
No, but he's not going to deregulate things. He's not gonna unwind or.
But see, the unwinding is pretty much already done. Is he even going to put more regulation back in?
Well. No, I mean he basically unlocked everything. He took restrictions and oversight from fucking regulation from basically everything.
Oh yeah, coal industry and natural gas,
everything.
Especially
Water, fucking water, air, gas, oil, fucking anything. I mean for me, knowing history, I am less concerned with revolutions. I am less concerned with civil wars. I am less concerned with wars because that's like been an ongoing thing. With the environment,
that's a whole.
It's been an ongoing thing locally, like regionally, but it has never been this globally. Right. And seeing how things are, the fires, the floods, the hurricanes, the typhoons, it's scarier for me because then you don't, like any war, you always have an enemy. You always have the resources or you don't have the resources. You're always able to kind of work back and forth. With the environment, there's no back and forth.
No.
I mean, it's like this.
You're trying to stop the tide.
On. Correct. And it piles on. And it happens in California. Oh, shit, we got 2 hurricanes that hit fucking Louisiana, Alabama, fucking Texas. Oh, shit, we have this. Oh, we got hurricane hit fucking Florida. Oh, we got hurricane hit fucking Northeast. We got this coming in the fucking West or Southwest. Oh, there's drought. There's this.
I'm really scared of the tornadoes they're going to have.
Yeah, like all these, I mean, for me, those things are extremely less, there's less control of those things than there is control of wars. Like, we can actually
it's almost like, so here's where, and by all means, it's not based on direct. I've had this conversation with Vinny, I think at least twice, but like how I look at it, it's almost better because if you really want to attack the environment, you basically have to just get rid of the U.S. government in general and put in something new.
Any government, right?
And to me, that's like, so I just have to get to, it almost seems like it's getting so bad that you'd almost have to have hyper acceleration, which is obviously going to happen under Trump, and to really get people pissed off and to take over and finally like really put in an actual Green New Deal, because I'm just worried Joe Biden's going to go in there. Okay, Trump's gone. We can all relax now, and then he's just going to add a fucking carbon tax, and then.
Well, that's an assumption. I mean,
right? That's fair.
There's an assumption that if things get worse, we'll get better.
But
I mean, the World War II didn't show that. Cold War didn't show that. World War I didn't show that.
Well, technically,
the 100-Year War didn't
World War
show
I
that.
showed that because the World War
How
I
did it show? It created a League of Nations that eventually created World War II.
Right. Hence why it got worse and then it got better after World War II.
How did it get better after World War II? I mean, I think I would argue that Europe right now is in worse situation than it was before World War II.
I mean, sure, but I mean, what would have happened? But like, think how quickly it got into a worse situation after World War I, is my point. Like, it went to World War fascism right away.
Not right away. I wouldn't say that.
Compared to, it's been 90 years since World War II.
What's Italy? When the fascism comes in, and 1922, was it 1922 or 1920?
Well, it would have been
1922. Mussolini, 1922, right?
Which is pretty quick after World War I.
For sure. The German Nazi
1933,
Germany,
1932.
No, I would say there's an argument. I forgot his name. We have a book, 1928, that Hitler actually came to power in 1928.
Oh shit!
But the work they did from the end of World War I through 1928, it's been a constant political struggle in Germany, and it was quick, and there's obviously reasons for it, and a lot of it was debt, a lot of it was League of Nations, a lot of it was division of part of Germany went to France, fucking the industrial sector. I mean, there's a lot of elements, but I just don't historically. I don't. This is what I'm really concerned with, is that assumption that things have to get worse to get better, or an assumption that that's because my fear is that people like, as you pointed out, people like Biden will actually lead to somebody like Hitler to come into power.
Sure. Basically just a competent Trump.
Correct. But having Trump doing the way things he is doing can lead to,
and it's not just individuals. You got to think of what Trump represents, and more importantly, and this is more what I'm getting at. Like, people got to show, because I'm just throughout the decades I'm so sick of the it was because he had a Democratic Congress at the time, so that's why the Republican president. It was because he had a Democratic president. For sure. I want to be all Republicans, a good solid like 20 block year Republicans. They don't have any fucking excuse because they represent capitalism obviously better, and I want to show people that like, look, capitalism doesn't fucking work. You have to do something else. We have to at least maintain it. It's sort of my overall point, not just these individuals and what can lead to whatever.
No, they're not. But he is actually one of the few people who's acting as. I mean, he's one of the few people. I'm not saying about the system. What I'm saying about person in power, he is actually, as you can see, lack of communication that he has with people.
Sure.
Firing all kinds of people.
Sure.
Which leads me to believe a little bit in a way is that he is actually that person who is trying to take things under his own control.
Of course.
Which he's and it actually
authoritarian to the max.
I wouldn't even say that. I would say capitalist to the max in the way that.
Oh, you mean authoritarian? What do you got to think? What is the CEO?
Well, he's not just Stalin.
Oh well.
He's not Stalin.
Well, neither is.
That's authoritarianism. I mean, if you want to, okay, he's a soft, but he still has Congress and a Senate.
First off, you're thinking of dictators. Dictators are different from an authoritarian.
No, what is a dictator? I mean, authoritarianism is what
leads to dictatorships. Absolutely.
Well, it's an idea, right? It's like it's this political economy, I guess. Well, not just like a way of governing this particular institution.
It's funny. It's like I mentioned B.J. Armstrong, who is a basketball player, and you're like, well, he's not Michael Jordan. Yeah, I know he's not fucking Michael Jordan, but he's still a goddamn basketball player.
No, I know, but but that's important, though. Michael Jordan was a hardworking motherfucker.
And a fascist and a dictator. Well, and when it came to his basketball team.
Why that's why they were the best. And so this is where a thin line, like this very, very like cautious.
And what I mean by
where we're at, which way we're slipping, like can it go this way? Can it go that way? Because
right. But what I mean by authoritarian, basically, and at least in the Donald Trump sense, and especially what he has in common with Stalin and all these other people, is like they want to have the final say. And they want their authority. They want their authority to be above all else, and they want yes men. They don't want anybody to be able to say no to them, and that's definitely Donald Trump's personality
for sure. So is Reagan. So is LBJ. So is Clinton.
I don't want to have to call Ronald Reagan an authoritarian. Of course, no, they all are. Absolutely.
Clinton, he was a fucking scumbag. I mean, he used a pretty face to fucking do all kinds.
But I wouldn't necessarily authoritarian because
no, definitely not authoritarian.
Because just for the fact that like he was lazy though. In fact, and because he's the one who put, because he took a hands off to economic policy, and he just put Alan Greenspan fucking in charge of it. So, he's just like, I don't even want control over this economy.
Yeah, but you can say the same thing about fucking goddamn Stalin too. He will blame everything on fucking different people who he would execute or send to fucking goddamn Siberia. No, I know. I mean, there's obviously difference. I hope people don't think that. But no, I mean, he is. I mean, and once again, I keep reminding people is that our country is extremely young.
Oh, so young.
And yeah, I mean, you're talking about. I mean, you're talking about basic. I mean, I'll use a perfect example: Ukraine. I mean, that fucking culture started technically in 978 or 998. With the Vladimir taking over. So I mean, that's man. That's like 1,100 years. I mean, and then that's not even the oldest one. You're talking about Roman Empire. You're talking about Greeks. You're talking about India, You talk Arabians in India. You talking about Persians. You talking about Chinese, man. I mean, how long they've been there? For a couple thousand years. Egyptians.
And you can't really start even at the Declaration of Independence. You can't even start the Revolutionary War because the United States is not even a world player till the World War, after World War I.
Yeah. I mean, late 1800s would start flexing a little bit.
Sure.
You have what's that? Monroe Doctrine.
Sure.
So we're starting to expand our tentacles, but not until and the only reason World War II is because of the fact that most countries were obliterated by the war.
Sure.
And we were the only ones who were kind of on the sidelines, not
were
being
like,
directly affected by it.
We were like Forrest Gump with that fucking strip boat.
Exactly. No, exactly. Hell yeah. Fucking one of my favorite movies. If you don't like it, fuck you. But
the movie is awful in the ways of like its politics or whatever. Yeah. But no, it's one of the most
storyline. The whole thing is just so connected.
But it's just so goddamn quotable.
Exactly, and it's so amazing. I know, I love it, man. Forrest Gump is one of my favorite, but.
Yeah. So, but we got to be the last man standing, basically.
No.
You know, and that's why I'm saying, like, that's why I think our economic system is just so pathetic, is because, you know, we had every advantage available for, like, every advantage possible for a fucking empire, isolated, all the resources you could imagine, everybody else destroyed around us, we can put our tentacles and everything, and we're like losing it after 50 years. It's like
losing it to a point, man. But I would also argue that if we have to pull our tentacles back, now, obviously, environmentally, it's not good, but we have all the resources we need to maintain ourselves.
Sure. Right, but we're not maintaining ourselves. That's the sad fact of it. That's why the system's so fucking bad.
No, we're not, and that's
you know.
But then even what is maintaining ourselves? Anything that comes from the West is usually based on the oppression of other countries and extraction of resources from other places. Mm-hmm. Because if we would actually start extracting everything that we've been extracting, or using these different means of having others extract for us here in the United States, man, it would be like going to India or something. Not saying nothing bad about India. India's sense, in the fact that you have families, from my personal experience, you have families living literally. I watched a family with the little fucking homemade tent, which they're probably migrant workers from rural areas in Mumbai living. So what are those dividers they call in the middle of the highway?
Oh yeah, they're just called dividers, I think.
Dividers, yeah. So you had this a concrete divider that was about 5 feet wide, and I remember there was a tent on it in between this highway or the road. And we were in traffic, and this little kid, I don't know, 2 years old, maybe 3 years old, came out of that tent, and he started taking a shit on that thing. And it just fucking blew my mind. Not that he was taking a shit, the fact that there are people who are living in the middle, basically, of fucking 94,
right,
or 80,
right,
or 90, or fucking 95, or whatever, fucking any road, 30. Like literally living in between, and the kid is coming out taking a shit. Less of the act itself and more of the fact that it's so normalized.
Yeah, he was like, he wasn't bothered by it or anything.
Yeah, and I was in this little rickshaws, they call those, tricycle, I mean, whatever they're called, 3-wheel motorcycles, scooters, or whatever. And I was just looking, and I was like, holy fuck, man. And I was just like, what the fuck is going on? That's basically like, hey, like, this is what's going on in other countries. Like, obviously, and this is not all the fault of the United States. I think people have to start be like, well, okay, so yeah, they're the hegemon, they're this empire, this, that, but
there obviously was a system before the
like,
U.S. took over it.
Exactly. Like, what the fuck are we gonna keep fucking listening to them, or are we gonna do something that we fucking need to do as people?
But the original question was maintaining. And like you're saying, like, how are you maintaining? It's like, well, I mean, we got plenty of people live on highways now too, at least underneath them. And having fucking 60,000 people, which is twice the size of my hometown, being homeless in LA. I don't call that maintaining. I mean, well, we just saw the giant riots we just had. Like, I don't call that maintaining.
Yep. No, man, it's slipping. It's not. Mm-hmm. And to be honest with you, it's
and this is actually to just turn it into another shameless promotion, if you don't mind, and maybe I'll head on out. Which is why our EP coming out, look for it, is going to be called Slow Burn Apocalypse.
Yes, I like that. No, I'm excited, man. I loved your guys' show. I'm being serious. I honestly, I watched it and I was like, oh man, I enjoyed the music. I enjoyed the lyrics. I enjoyed the performance. I enjoyed and you know what? It's interesting because it does remind me of the Doors. It's the dynamic. Well, the dynamic between, I know there was like this whole thing, Jim Morrison by himself and the Doors themselves, but in reality, no, there was like this symphony of dynamics within a band that allowed
That's all about the dynamics.
To be the Doors, and I think going back to Oliver Stone, his movie, the first time I watched it was on mushrooms with my friends. My nephew and my friend, one of them, my nephew died from overdose, which is film as well. And my other friend went to jail for armed robbery. And
my cousin did, yeah.
And yeah, man, and just him pointing that out, that dynamic, when those managers from the records came up to him and said, hey man, drop those guys. Like, it's all about you, it's not about them. And,
that's awful.
And he ignored them and he stuck with the Doors.
There you go.
And and another thing that Oliver Stone pointed out, and in that film, when Val Kilmer says to his girlfriend, I forgot her name, but in the film, that these young girls, they only want my dick. They don't want my poetry. And that's what they turned him into.
Right.
Like, sure. this whole society, the marketing, the promoters, the companies, like the record companies, like they were like, all right, let's fucking let's turn this guy into what we can make money out of.
Which is it makes quite the contrast of, like, they idolized him. They put him up on this pedestal. They made it so much, but nobody would actually listen to him.
No, exactly. Well, that was his thing. What did he say? He said they don't listen to my poetry.
Right.
And then another thing is that Robbie Krieger, the guitarist, actually wrote quite a few songs in there too.
Sure.
They're
amazing musicians. Like,
and he never got any,
Yeah. Like, I mean, did you ever read Tom Robbins' fucking article about when he saw, because he got to see them like early, like 68.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And it's like, it's one of the biggest like literary bro jobs I've ever seen. Like, he's just like, this is the best band I've ever, because I could imagine Doors, like when they first started, was probably something like, before they got any real big egos or anything like that. And like, and they're really like hitting it hard and trying to make it big. Like, I'm sure they were pretty fucking awesome.
Well, so I think this is the end, my friend, the only friend, the end. Of everything that stands, the end.
Sure.
No, what was it?
Oh, yeah.
No, fuck. My only friend, the end.
Well, I was worried about overhyping my band.
No safety, no surprise, the end. I'll never look into your eyes again, my only friend.
There you go, Jim.
Perfect place. Yeah,
Riding on the storm.
bed.
But yeah, no, I tried not to overhype our band, but here's fucking Sergio comparing us to the Doors. So,
oh no, man. Well, but that's the whole thing, man. I mean,
because I know this right now, I am not nearly as sexy as Jim Morrison. So don't get your hopes up.
well, you never know.
Oh shit, yeah, a little more confidence, right?
You never know.
A little boost from Sergio, maybe.
Plus, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I watch bands and I love the music, but unless I see that spark and this kind of this dynamic in the band, I think it has a big role. Maybe I might be wrong.
Oh no, I know. Absolutely no. I mean, the super groups are good content. There's been so many super groups over the years. They're like, well, if you have this awesome musician, throw him with this awesome musician, and it like never really works. You might get a good song out of it, but like you can't. It has to be a natural, coalition of personalities.
But even that, if you have a song that made it and like people really enjoyed it, and you guys especially enjoyed developing it and making it,
so much fun. I don't have to make any money. I would do this,
what I'm saying.
Right? And I love Ben and Brandon so much, there'd be people they'd easily be my friends without being in a band with them. Like, I mean, I was friends with Brandon before, and and they just kind of happened to, and I mean, as somebody, and this is like my first real music project at, I'm going to be 38 years old real soon. It was like, and I've tried like to have bands and shit like that, and it's so hard, and all of a sudden, like, I'm the luckiest dude ever. Like, I really like. Oh yeah. I mean, because like we're all creative equally for the most part. From what I've seen, we all I actually beg them for more ideas.
Correct.
And we all respect each other, and we all let each other do what we want. We rarely say no to one another because we don't really go. There's very little to no boundaries in our process. So I think that's what's, hopefully we got something really new, exciting for everybody to join.
All right. Well, you've heard it. Check out Hydro Lazer.
The Laser with a Z.
Yeah, that's right, baby. Check them out.
And then actually it's not the full title because it's the EP title is actually going to be a nod to Mr. Kubrick with Dr. Strangelove.
Oh, yeah.
Because so the full title is going to be Slow Burn Apocalypse, or How Hydro Lazer Learned to Enjoy the Trash Piling.
Oh, shit. I love it. Well, you've heard it. Check them out. And it was good to have you here, man.
I can't wait to come back. I love you guys so much.
Hell yeah, man. Love you too, brother.
All right, Serge.
We missed Vince, but it's good to have you guys. And we'll talk to you next week.
Until next time.
Peace.
Political arts, roots, culture.
Peace.
Peace. Woo.